What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the show. If you guys want to go ahead and double tap the screen, comment, interact, help get some people in here, would appreciate it. I'm going to be on the receiving end of some news tonight for Jaden because I have been busy. I've had baby K literally all day because of the thing I had to dip out for. So, anyway, if you guys are over on TikTok, if you want to do me a solid, help get some people in here, double tap the screen, comment, interact, help get some people in here, would appreciate it. That would be cool. But yeah, unfortunately, it's going to be Jaybird getting the news to me. Because I know the BBB is going through...
Hello.
What's up, Jaden? I heard you're tired. We can make tonight a little shorter night if you'd like.
Whatever works. Yeah, I've been tired. Just running around nonstop these past 4 or 5 days. I don't know.
1 second. Running around the last 4 or 5 days?
Yeah. Photography.
Yeah.
Kept me busy.
Well,
and not paying as much as it should. But it's a gift.
go away. Okay. All right. Cool. We're live everywhere. Got it all set up. Got it all going on. By the way, the YouTube short side's over there yet. I don't think they're going to send it out until I get monetized. And I don't know how far I am from monetizing, but I need to check. If you guys want to double tap the screen, comment, interact, help get some people in here, and that would be cool. Oh, how is everybody's weekend? I had baby K all weekend. We went camping. It was fun.
That's good.
It was fun.
Camping.
It was fun.
I never liked camping, man.
Me fucking neither.
It's more glamping. I have a
it's-
trailer. It's like a hotel room in the woods.
It is.
Yeah, okay. That's
Air
a little
conditioning.
bit. Still, you're paying a lot of money to feel like you're houseless.
That's true.
I don't get it.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's
Oh,
true.
speaking of which, it's funny you say that. I got the strangest ad that I haven't acknowledged until now. I saw this ad for a virtual reality experience in which you can experience poverty in third world countries. And I have to wonder who's going to pay for that? Who's going to actually sign up for that?
That's kind of wild. We
That's
okay.
weird.
Well, it's
Wait, is
supposed
it-
to be a thing to like motivate people to donate to these third world countries and send them the kids aid packages, but it's like a simulation where you live through abject poverty.
Interesting. Josh, I got to get you out of
Yeah.
here.
I wonder if they can.
Which you could
I
save
wonder
so
if they
much more
can,
money by taking a train to Mississippi.
This is what it's
Yeah.
like to live in Detroit.
That's a good, decent.
No, but this is
joke
true. This was a real ad that I saw.
there. Do you know one time we made a joke about poverty in Alabama and someone like clipped it and got mad and I guess never came back to the show? Jesus Christ, so sensitive. Holy fuck. I mean, let's be real.
No, you're
It's
not
poor.
wrong.
Like, how do they instill the feeling of, am I going to be able to eat tomorrow? Like, they can't. No simulation can give you
Right.
the PTSD of living like that. I don't know.
I got a screenshot of it here. Let me pull it up.
Sorry, literally.
This was rather unusual an experience. There it is. You can see up there, they're hoisting up some kind of thing by a rope. It's supposed to imitate like a third world street or something like that, but that's the thing. I don't understand what the hell this is or why anybody would pay for that, but
You
yeah.
got to go fetch water.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't. Interesting. Interesting. If you were debating, hop in the box. I'd appreciate it. Sorry I messed up here, so I'm just trying to get this all sorted out. There we go. Cool, cool, cool. Do we have any...
Got some interesting news today.
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Did you guys know Jimmy Swaggart was still alive up until today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
He's not anymore, but he was. I was kind of impressed.
Yeah.
You know, he was supposed to call my grandma for her 100th birthday. My grandma passed a few years ago. She's 104 when she died. He was supposed to call her for her 100th birthday. And because she gave money to him every freaking month, man. She was one of those old ladies. And he never called. Never called.
This is a scary looking guy. Who's that one that dyes his hair? Is it Ken Copeland or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's, man, just die, all right? This is scary
It
looking.
is.
Stop.
You scared me.
Stop.
The fucking
living,
bro's a
please.
scarecrow. Bro's a scarecrow.
Just,
All right.
He looks like a
He's a
demon.
scare.
Just quit life, please.
I mean, he does. He does not look. I mean, you time's up. You 100 and whatever. You ancient. You're older than the devil. He just has these crazy nutso eyes. Televangelist. God,
it's
I
not
can't.
just that. He
I
dyes
cannot.
his hair.
I cannot think of anything like just more gross as a human being than televangelists. Like they're
Yeah.
just vile. Literally everything about them is just incredibly vile. No redeeming qualities. And I mean, let's be real. It's a play. Okay? They're abusing the tax system. That's the whole thing. They rake in a bunch of money, put it all on the church's dime. It's all tax free. Move monies and ways.
Yeah. Tax the churches, man.
Yep.
Do you know
saw
the
a
United
video
States?
today with,
Dude, this is an interesting fact. Do you know how many churches the United States has?
That's a good question.
Oh,
No.
So
100,000 easy.
I'm gonna 1 second. Hold on a second here. Hold on a second.
Don't let me hanging.
Wait. I wanted to because it's so absurd. I wanted to like show you.
Can't be in the millions, can it?
Okay, so Ethiopia has 52,000.
Okay.
I'll just go to another one. I should go top 5. So
My
the United
number's
States,
way off,
the United States has. Oh, that's Christians. Where's the churches? The United States. Okay, fuck it. I'll just tell it because I can't find it. The United States has like double Saudi Arabia in churches, and it's like insane. Hold on.
And we still don't have a number.
350 to 400,000 churches in the United States.
Jesus.
That means one per 100 people. I think Saudi
Yeah,
Arabia
but
is
what's
half
the
that.
ratio in Saudi Arabia? What's their population?
That's a good point.
Wait, what was the number?
3 to 400,000.
400,000.
400,000.
They have
churches.
33 million, so per capita, Saudi Arabia would have the most. But like the next country under there drops off to like a quarter what the U.S. has, like 50,000 churches.
I lived in a small town when I was a teenager, and they literally had a church on every. So the town square had a big ass water tower in the center of the park, and every corner at the town square had a church. Just different religions, Baptist, well, it was all Christian, but
I got a favor to ask
1,500
everyone.
people in the town, and there's 4 churches.
We
at
only have
least. No, there's more than that.
5K likes on TikTok. If you guys would go ahead and double tap the screen, comment, interact, help get some people in here. If you guys are over on YouTube, hit that like button, comment, interact. I would appreciate it. This morning it was a kind of an emergency. I had to go get baby K, so it is what it is. I didn't really have a choice, and I had to do it then, so it's not like I could wait. It just sort of sprung up out of nowhere, and yeah. So, city I live in has more churches than gas stations. It really is really gross when you see like the gravity, like how
Is
big
that
these
true?
churches are. What?
More churches than gas stations?
No, someone said that in their town there's more churches than gas stations.
Oh. Oh, that really ups the odds of incest by like 500%.
Plain White Socks, appreciate for the resub for 2 months. Appreciated. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and add that in to the sub goal. We have 30 sub goal. We got one on the night. If you guys want to sub over on TikTok or Twitch or YouTube, would appreciate it. Help get some people in here. That would be awesome. Yeah. So, there's that.
I had to take an emergency trip up to Phoenix the other day. I don't know if you guys remember, I told you about the dog I got that doesn't speak English. She only speaks Spanish because she lives in Mexico. She well, we found a home for her, right? The lady's like, hey, I lost my other dog last year. I think it's time to get another dog. Da 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 da. So we met her. She seemed great. She took the dog, and then she calls us up 3 days later, and she's like, I can't have this dog. It's way too much. It's too much. My house isn't big enough. She like, I didn't know she was living in an apartment. I'm like, you can't keep this dog in an apartment. She was taking it out to the pool and letting it run around, and then I'm like, God bless her. I wish I would have known. Yeah, it was just like she was kind of dishonest with us. When we were speaking with her, but she called us up and she's like, I can't do this. I have to give it back. So we had to take a trip up to Phoenix the other day. It's a 3-hour ride, that one way, and so we got the dog back. She's gonna be our dog. I have a feeling she's gonna be our dog. We're gonna be a foster fail. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Well, no, it's not terrible. It's a good story. You get to learn Spanish. Nutcracker, appreciate the 5. What happens when you mess up at Ninja Church? The nun chucks you out. Nutcracker, appreciate the 5 over on YouTube. Could we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat? Would appreciate it. By the way, HVAC is a Republican again.
Surprised.
Oh, yeah, no shit. I spoke with him last night. I jumped on his live.
Yeah. I don't want to say that I'm really good at reading people, but I'm really good at reading people. That was stellar on my part. That was a really...
Everybody
I don't want to toot my own
knew.
horn here.
You mean a right winger is gifted?
I don't know. There was a lot of people that were like, no, he's changed. And I'm like, I don't believe it.
Give him a chance.
I don't believe it.
No thanks.
I don't believe it.
I don't trust anybody. I definitely don't trust anybody. I barely trust RTP because he used to be a Republican.
Yeah, all the former conservatives have me on edge.
Marty.
I jumped in this. I'll tell you in a minute.
Marty, what's going on? You're live.
I don't know.
Doing all right. What's going on? What's your take?
I'm good. Why are you so concerned about churches in the United States?
Shut up. We're not.
We're not. It's just they're very clearly being used.
It sounds like you have a problem. There is that many churches.
What part of shut up? We're not. Don't you understand?
Yeah, we don't care. We were pointing it out. I mean, actually, I do care how many churches there are in the United States because very clearly there's only this many churches because they're being used and manipulated for tax advantage. But
you don't think there is many churches because people just want to go to church?
Because people want to go to church? No, I think a lot of them are probably tax havens. Very clearly, super churches, televangelists, that type of stuff. But there's also smaller ones. I mean, you can literally start a church, collect money on it, pay yourself, get a ton of tax deductions and write-offs and stuff that you wouldn't get if you had a normal business. Plus, people pay you money just to have it. So yeah,
you can also start a church too. I can also start a church for people to come.
I can start a church. You know, we could technically start a church. I wanted to start a church, and this is true, dedicated to the mannerisms of David Rose from Schitt's Creek. That's true. I did. We called it the Church of Bad. We used to run a segment on here. Because I don't know if you've seen that show. It's fantastic. I found it on accident, by the way, before it blew up.
I remember the segment. I don't remember it being dedicated to him, though.
No, it was a joke between John and I. Sorry, Marty, go ahead.
All right.
Do you have a debate?
No.
Yes, why is MAGA fascist movement?
MAGA
I don't know.
is Yeah, what is fascism? Let's start there. What's your understanding of fascism?
Authoritarian movement, something like that.
Yeah, would be an authoritarian movement.
Why?
What?
Why? Why so?
What? Why do you mean why?
How's
Are
MAGA?
we confused as to why it's... Hold on, I got a little distracted there for a second. Are we confused as to why it's an authoritarian movement? He's trying to undermine the rule of law. He literally just said today that he wants to deport citizens. Which isn't the first time he's said it. That's authoritarian.
Get back here. Don't take up on us.
Any response?
Hello? Hello?
Going once? Okay.
Yeah, no, I jumped in HVAC's live last night, man. He was going through something. And I don't know if it was like chemical something or if it was just like a brain something. I think he was just having an episode, and I jumped in and I told him, "Hey man, like take care of yourself, bud. I don't even like you, but drink water. Get some sleep tonight. You definitely need sleep." He's like, I'm fine. I'm like, yeah, that's the thing. When you're going through these episodes, you actually think you're becoming more sane while the rest of the world looks at you and says, oh, that's not normal. So just drink water,
Yeah.
take care of yourself, get some rest, take your medicine if you need it. And he fucking hung up on me.
Yeah, I have to wonder what are the long-term effects of asbestos on the brain. You know, he's got to be around that stuff a lot with his line of work.
I know. I think we have some in the box.
Yeah, man.
Do we? We did. We did.
Mm.
He, yeah, I mean, he's around some stuff. Trade guys can be weird, having been in the trades. They can be weird.
Yeah, especially plumbers that insist on showing their ass crack when they work.
I saw someone on TikTok named Tasered Millennial. Nutcracker, appreciate the 5. Thank you. I saw one of the funniest usernames I ever saw. It was actually, there's two. There's one on here that I saw, which was Cash at Me Outside. And the other one was George BBW Bush. Yeah, George BBW Bush.
Jeez.
That was the, yeah. Oh, I turned that off. Democrats are down to less than 20%. Yeah, nobody likes the Democrats. I don't know why they keep using this. Like, because whenever we pointed out that Donald Trump is the most unpopular president in American history, they're just like, no.
Yeah.
They won't accept that. But then they'll be like, Democrats are at 20%. And you know what? They deserve to be because they fucking suck. They're spineless, okay? And for everyone on the left, by the way, that is not, we don't rely on the Democrats. You know what I mean? If fucking one of the Republicans was to come up with a good idea, I'd probably be like, okay, that's a good idea. But they don't come up with good ideas. They come up with this bullshit today, like the big bullshit bill. Which, by the way, disastrous if this goes through. How many... I can't remember. It's going to remove 11 million people from insurance.
Yep, from their health care. That's right.
Yeah, look at what you voted for. All these dumb bastards out here like, Trump. Yeah. If I run the math, half of America voted. Half of America voted. And by the way, this is just, like, I don't want to see anybody not have health care. So I don't want to use this as a punching bag. But it's just like, you did this. This is on you. And they're going to find a way to blame Biden. 11 million people are going to lose insurance on this. Probably about 8 million of them are adults. Because, by the way, most kids, they're like in a lot of states, they'll have access. They're going to be cut out of it, though. But let's just assume, like, demographically speaking, we keep it linear. Trump failed, appreciate it, thank you. Unless you do old Reno's, asbestos hardly exists. Fair enough. Nutcracker, again, appreciate it. Doves and drumsticks in the chat.
They still got that
linearly,
insulation up there. That ain't good for you.
No.
The pink
Linearly, though, what is it, 11 million people? 8 million of the people that lose insurance
Pink
are going to be
stuff.
adults, which means about 4 million Trump supporters, somewhere around there, are going to lose insurance. 4 million. And by the way, when those people lose insurance, are there going to be any Republicans that stand up for them and go, oh, yeah, you're right? No, the moment that they're like, I lost my insurance because of Trump, Republicans will be like, they'll attack them. That's the way the in-group groups work. Yeah.
Do the same thing they've always said to me, like when they're talking shit
Biden
about people
took my
with
insurance.
SSDI.
I literally had a guy yesterday in my comment section that was like, Trump brought chips back from TSMC. I was like, he's trying to cancel that, and that was Biden. That wasn't Trump. They just fucking crazy.
Yeah. We need not look far from the fact that just a few months ago, remember those viral town hall meetings, which their own constituents were getting tossed out and arrested for calling out the cuts that were happening in their districts?
Mm-hmm.
Just expect that times 10. And there's a reason why they're trying to rush this through before a lengthy congressional recess. They don't want to have to answer for it.
Ultimately,
No, they did it. They did it on a Saturday night in the middle of the night, so that way they could skirt it through. They're counting on people not showing up to vote on it, and that's how they're going to pass it through. And the Democrats came back and they're like, no. We want you to read this page by page for the next 15 hours before people can get in.
yeah, this is a pretty common to happen. Someone said, how's the stocks going? LOL, you all thought everything was going to crash, or was going crashing. Fuck, you can't spell. But here's the important part, is that they do this shit too. We're like, the economy, the stock market's going to crash because of Trump's policies. And then he reverses his policies, and they go, you all said you were wrong, because he's not implementing his policies. I don't know what's fucking difficult about that. I got to explain this to my child, to a toddler. I don't know. Anyway, Trump, this is the beautiful bullshit bill here is going to take 11 million people off insurance, going to kill 51,000 people a year. So there's that. I need a mod. Do I still need a mod over there? Anyway, what else is in this bill? Wasn't there some other news that happened today? We could go into the news in a minute. I don't have anything to add to it, though, because I've been busy all day. I'm really busy all day.
Nearly
so
4
I don't
trillion
know if you want to
added
record
the
it. We'll
debt.
start again tomorrow, I think.
Well, let me pull everything up first. That'll be the top story of the day. Oh yeah, Elon Musk is having Trump and Musk are having their cat fight again on social media.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That lasted... I was pretty accurate on how long I thought that was going to last. Anthony
Well, they're back at it
Scaramucci...
again.
Yeah, Anthony Scaramucci said it was going to last 11 Scaramucci's, which he thought was 300 days, or almost a year. And I was like, doubtful.
Yeah.
Doubtful. It's crazy, though.
Crazy funny.
Yeah. Gretchen, appreciate it. Gretchen, appreciate the 5, thank you. Tommy Drew's impeccable living account is blocked on your channel, so wrong, any more mods in here, just saying. Why would it be blocked? I'll look it up. Why would Drew be blocked? I didn't block Drew. We don't even really have mods over there.
How odd.
Is Drew in here right now? What do we need a mod for? Let me see. Because I know Drew came in on another account, and I was like, that's interesting, but Drew never reached out, so...
Are we recording news tonight, or are we just talking?
Hey, we got Carter.
We're recorded. I'm just pulling everything up.
Is this the Trump whispers in the box, too, by the way? We're not going to record him tonight. I haven't had time to prep for him, so...
Carbon's here? This fucking guy.
What's up, Carbon?
What's up, man?
So I just spent 40 minutes waiting in the guest request for like some red pill conservative, and like his live got banned. I'm so pissed.
Oh. Usually you get at it and they talk over you and then you get blocked or kicked.
I think
Probably
he
for the
knew
better
who
that
I
it got
was
banned.
because like I was the only person in the guest. He's like, all right, we're still waiting for.
Right,
I'm over here
they ignore-
spamming in the chat,
ignore
like,
you.
bro, I'm in here.
Hey, there's nobody in the box. We're still looking.
Like-
What? Right here.
Looking at the fucking ceiling and shit.
You can see when they read it too.
Yeah,
Okay, we don't have anybody. Come on up.
We have the Trump whisperer, by the way.
Let's go.
All right, send his hot ass Cheeto breath in here.
Wait, we got a different dude that feels like it might be a troll. I'll look. I'm gonna write this down for Drew, and then when I get a chance, I'll unblock him.
Like he was like in this live, he was like, what did he say? He said the CIA funded an NGO. This NGO is the reason why feminism exists. And the reason why they wanted to do that was to create big government. How did they create big government? By taxing 2 people instead of 1. So now they put women back to work. And that's how, that was the whole plan, the 80-year plan to get women back to work. So they can tax 2 people in a household instead of 1. It was the most incredible logic I think I've ever heard in my life.
I'm not teacupping, am I?
Nah.
No.
Okay, cool.
There's a little truth to that, but not.
Big, what's up?
Like the double tax part.
Yeah, what's up?
What's going on? What's your take?
I think Trump's cool.
All right, Boomhauer.
All right, why?
Do you want to hear me put my phone in my mouth?
No. This guy fucks. His butthead sounds more like. Next.
1 second. Dude,
You
fucking
guys know what a
TikTok.
haboob is?
No,
A haboob?
TikTok, whenever I
A
fucking...
haboob?
What the hell is that?
A haboob is a dust storm. They roll
gotta be
through
called that?
Arizona.
Oh,
Yeah,
must be
so
lost.
like, no, actually
Is it
they
a
don't.
sexy storm?
So in the 1990s, we used to call them dust storms, and it's literally a wall of dust. So when it rains, when we get monsoons, the rain, a lot of wind, it'll push dust in front of the rainstorm, and it's called a haboob. It's a very large dust storm. It's a wall. You can look it up on TikTok. It's a wall of dust that covers the city, and then the rain comes and it washes it. But anyway, we got hit with a really large haboob yesterday in Tucson.
Nice.
I know.
Did you motorboat it?
Did. But so the funny thing is, when I was growing up in the 90s, in the 80s and 90s, they just called them dust storms, right? And then the Iraq War happened, and people went over to Iraq and Kuwait, and they had a lot of dust, and they call them haboobs over there. So for some reason, they just started calling them haboobs when all the soldiers came back from war.
I feel like that's going to make it really difficult to prepare in serious terms for a storm, you know?
Okay, I got Drew unblocked. I don't know why Drew was blocked. I don't know who blocked Drew, but they're saved.
Yeah, haboob's an Arabic word. That's what I was saying. It came back after the
Interesting.
90s.
Ah. So?
Everything goes orange for I don't know, like an hour. The whole city turns orange because of the dust, and then it rains.
I used to hunt on this farmer's property that moved to the Yakima Valley during the Dust Bowl. Like, he experienced the Dust Bowl when he was a kid. And he was old. He was really old. He was like in his 80s or something.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
I thought that was more of a Midwest thing.
What?
The Dust Bowl.
No, Dust Bowl. He moved from the Dust Bowl.
Oh, okay, to Yakima. Okay.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy we could just have something happen like that again and we never talk about it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We never talk about that.
When was the Dust Bowl? Like the 30s or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around the
Yeah.
Depression time.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, the 30s sucked, didn't they?
Yeah, they weren't fun.
Can we not repeat that, please?
Haboob, noun, a funny looking babe. Nutcracker, appreciate the 5 over there. Thank you. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat? If you guys want to support the channel, there's a Venmo Cash App in the bio. Alternatively, y'all can join the Patreon where you can watch the playbacks or tier 2 on YouTube. You can sub across any one of the platforms. If you guys are over on TikTok, there is a way to submit for review emotes. So like memes or stuff that you want to be down here that you guys can use. You can help me out and submit some, because that's a lot. I don't fucking meme like that. But you guys can do that. So if you want something specific, you can do it, and then I review it and approve it. Yeah. Some of them I can't approve because just CGBs, but I do my best. And yeah, we have a 30 sub goal in the night. We got 1, so if you guys want to sub or you can support and gift subs, would appreciate it. That would be awesome. Just added some. Nice. Yeah. I'll check that out in a minute. All right, so what do we got in the news today? There were some big news stories today, right?
Yes, unfortunately.
All right.
Shall we go through them?
I don't know. I'm going in this blind. Actually, you know what, you record.
Yeah, probably for the better. Yeah.
All right. So we're doing the news. I'm going into this blind. I have not been able to look at news stories for today. I know about the big, beautiful bill. I don't know what else is going on. So, what do you got for us?
Did you get my list?
I'm going to ask questions and give my reaction because I did not have time to check out your list.
Okay. Well, are we ready?
Yes.
Okay. Today is Tuesday, July 1st. At the top of the story here, Senate Republicans narrowly passed Trump's mega bill after marathon voting session. The revised package now heads back to the House, where Republican leaders hope to approve it and send it to Trump before a self-imposed July 4th deadline. But it faces multiple hurdles. The Republican-controlled Senate narrowly passed President Trump's sweeping domestic policy package on Tuesday, bringing it one step closer to his desk. The vote was 51-50, fitting, with Vice President J.D. Vance breaking a tie after 3 Republicans joined all the Democrats in opposing the legislation. In a marathon overnight session that spanned more than 24 hours, senators voted on dozens of proposed changes to the legislation, and GOP leaders dragged out many of the votes as they frantically worked to win over holdouts. They ultimately secured enough votes with a catch-all amendment that was similarly approved with a vote of 51-50. Senator Lisa Murkowski, Republican out of Alaska, who had expressed concerns throughout the process about the bill's cuts to social safety net programs, was a key vote for Senate Majority Leader John Thune to win over. Voting against the final bill alongside all 47 Democrats were Republican Senators Rand Paul out of Kentucky, Tom Tillis out of North Carolina, and Susan Collins out of Maine. What the bill consists of is about 16 million children will lose school meals, more than $3.5 trillion added to the national debt, $148 billion in lost wages and benefits for construction workers. There's cuts to food services for veterans. The bill provides billions in surveillance for deportations. It adds ICE as one of the largest funded law enforcement branch in the United States. Cuts tax credits for buying electric vehicles. There's $186 billion in cuts to SNAP food assistance, and the largest cut to Medicaid in history. So, this is what we can expect.
My understanding was that who's the Alaska senator? Was it Collins?
Murkowski.
Who was this? Oh, Maine Senator Collins, right? Did she? Who was the senator? So there was a senator that took a deal, right? Did you see that? Right, which senator was that? Murkowski, where she basically said that all of the Medicare and Medicaid cuts would not happen to Alaska, right?
Yep.
It basically wrote in contiguous was the word. So only in the United States. So basically she just screwed over everybody else. And it's crazy because she knows that the deal is bad. Clearly. Otherwise she would have approved it. She knows what it would do to her state. And she went ahead and did it anyways. Where she could have killed it, and she could have saved Medicare or Medicaid in the rest of the United States. She could have saved those cuts.
Yep.
And she went and made that deal. That is a fucking evil deal. That is evil. You have to be a sick person to be that goddamn oblivious. Not even oblivious. You knew it was going to happen. You know what's going to happen. You know why you didn't want those cuts in your state. You know exactly why. And more so, all of the other Republicans, right? They're like, yeah, we'll go along with it. So they know that she had to do this to save face.
Apparently, her deal was cut
it's
out
evil.
by the Senate parliamentarian.
Is it still active?
I think it's cut out.
Oh, okay. Well, they're in there.
So she's still
The fact that she tried to make it, though. The fact that she tried to make it. And by the way, which I actually think makes it worse. She knew now she know. It's like she didn't even save her state. She didn't even save her state. That's actually crazy. So she knew the deal was bad. She got that penciled in and then agreed to it anyways, knowing it's going to hurt people in her state. God, I hope she is.
Up for re-election?
This is like the thing. I'm not sure, but this is like the thing with Republicans is like, and what I try to make this like really, really clear is like they do things that they know will hurt people. Mm-hmm. And then when those things hurt people, they point and laugh at the people it hurt that are former Republicans. It's not just Democrats. This is what they always go talk about homeless people. It's not just Democrats that are on the streets. There are Republicans that were subjected to the evil things that the Republican Party has done. And then who listens to them? No one. The Republicans turn around, point at them, and laugh, even though there's all Republicans that believe them. Those are Republicans that were affected that ended up homeless because of those Republican policies. And the Republicans turn around and point fingers at them. The moment it happens to you, they'll forget. It's like that farmer that literally got that deal with the Biden administration for $300,000 and then inevitably got it cut by the Trump administration. That's what you advocated for. You should be happy about it, right? But then he goes, oh, no, I didn't want that to happen to me. That didn't happen to me. So,
leopards weren't supposed to eat my face.
Yes, exactly. Jaden, thoughts?
Well, exactly that. The word is short-sighted. That's what I've always called it. Lisa Murkowski is chasing her electoral chances. She's up for re-election in 2028. But I think this is going to bite her in the butt. Never mind the fact that, Alaska has only a few 100,000 people that live there. They're still very much affected by this. There are still veterans that live there. There are still tribes, very much so, that are affected by this. And this is only dealing those constituents and everybody else a great disservice. I don't know why anybody is so adamant about this, other than padding the pockets of their donors. But this in no way benefits our society. It's something like Yale estimated, and I think Penn State estimated an additional 51,000 people were going to die each year.
Yeah.
That's the cost of this.
Right. Carbon, you're in here for the first time in a while. You got thoughts?
I'm actually reading about the Murkowski deal, so I'll have thoughts in a few minutes.
All right. Josh, you got anything?
Yeah, just like what you were saying. I mean, this stuff doesn't people don't care about it until it affects them, and that's what we saw with Murkowski. She was willing to let the rest of the country suffer because she saw her people would suffer and do it for her constituents. I guess was her excuse, but then it bit her in the butt. Like that's and now people are going to care. She's not going to get reelected for this. She's up for it again in 2028. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
They're one of the largest. So it's Texas, Florida, as well as South Dakota are the only ones that actually put in. They're one of the largest that take out of it, aren't they? Alaska?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Alaska lives on blue state subsidies. You got the next story for us, Jaden?
Unfortunately. But here we go with this one. A proposal to deter states from regulating artificial intelligence for a decade was soundly defeated in the U.S. Senate and on Tuesday today. thwarting attempts to insert the measure into President Trump's big, beautiful bill of tax breaks and spending cuts. The Senate voted 99-1 to strike the AI provision from the legislation after weeks of criticism from both Democratic and Republican governors and state officials. Originally proposed as a 10-year ban on states doing anything to regulate AI, terrible deal, lawmakers later tried to tie it to federal funding so that only states that backed off on AI regulations would be able to get subsidies for broadband, internet, or AI infrastructure. A last-ditch Republican effort to save the provision would have reduced the time frame to 5 years and sought to exempt some favorite AI laws, such as those protecting children or country music performers, Taylor Swift, from harmful AI tools. But the effort was abandoned when Senator Marsha Blackburn, a Tennessee Republican, teamed up with Democratic Senator Marcia Cantwell of Washington on Monday night to introduce an amendment to strike the entire proposal. Rare W for Senator Blackburn here. This is a personal thing, and I can't even fathom the idea of restricting a state government's ability to access federal funds based on whether or not they do or don't regulate AI. AI needs to be regulated, and I can only speak from my experience from this weekend. I was a part of a film festival, and our film did very well. It was a short film thing, but it was followed up with an AI film, and that crap can't be allowed. So, I think it's BS.
Carbon?
Yeah, I would say, like, it's very clear where this is coming from. It's coming from these large AI labs that are, like, lobbying government and saying, hey, listen, we're trying to build, like, AGI or even ASI, and they're getting in the pockets and getting in these private meetings with these conservative politicians and influencing them to say, hey, in 10 years, yeah, we don't want any regulations. 5 years, we don't want any regulations. It's just a stupid deal, obviously, because we don't know what AI is going to look like in 5 years. It's only been 2.5 years since the original ChatGPT dropped, and we've had like massive changes, not only to like the infrastructure, like they're much smarter now, but also how like it's affecting people's lives. You don't know how it's going to affect how it's going to affect this country in the next 5 years, much less 10 years. So saying like if it harms somebody and if it's doing like a drastic amount of harm in a state, and the state just cannot regulate it whatsoever, they're just going to have to run back to the federal government and start lobbying the government to undo that law. It makes no sense.
We should do after this a talk exclusively on AI and where it's going.
I want to tell you about this film festival thing.
We don't know where AI is going, but yeah. Sorry, go ahead on. Go to the next part. We don't know where AI is going, but we should talk AI after this.
Yeah, after this, I want to tell you about that film festival in depth. But here we have some more stories here on the foreign policy front. Trump says Israel has agreed on terms for a 60-day ceasefire in Gaza and urges Hamas to accept the deal. So that's coming out of today. Trump said today that Israel has agreed on terms for a 60-day ceasefire in Gaza and warned Hamas to accept the deal before conditions worsen. Trump announced the developments as he prepares to host Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for talks at the White House on Monday. The U.S. leader has been increasing pressure on the Israeli government and Hamas to broker a ceasefire and hostage agreement and bring an end to the war in Gaza. It reads, my representatives had a long and productive meeting with the Israelis today on Gaza. Israel has agreed to the necessary conditions to finalize a 60-day ceasefire, during which time we will work with the parties to end the war, Trump wrote, saying that the Qataris and Egyptians would deliver the final proposal. I hope for the good of the Middle East that Hamas strikes this deal because it will not get better, it will only get worse, he said. Trump promises that this will be his best and final offer and to find a skeptical audience with Hamas. Even before the expiration of the war's longest ceasefire in March, Trump has repeatedly issued dramatic ultimatums to pressure Hamas to agree to longer pauses in the fighting that would see the release of more hostages and return to more aid to the Gaza's civilian populace. Now, I am not confident that a ceasefire agreement brokered by Trump would hold, given the fact that he's consistently undermined it with his support of Israel and the lack of humanitarian aid going into Gaza. This being the same lunatic that proudly posted an AI-generated video of him annexing Gaza, hardly the one I would trust in delivering a fair deal for the Palestinian people, the people of Gaza. So whether or not this is finalized and will hold is to be determined, but I've no doubt in my mind that either side is culpable of breaching the terms and conditions of it.
Yeah, he's been a complete failure at deal making, so I don't really see this changing. The first ceasefire already failed. There's nothing to argue about there. So, Carbon or Josh? I know Josh hasn't said anything, so I don't know if Josh wants to talk or not, but Carbon, you got something?
Nah, I'm all right.
Anything on the ceasefire deal?
I thought Josh was okay. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Just plain and simple. I don't trust any. First of all, I don't even trust that there was a deal. But if there was, yeah, it's just par for the course.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump is very giddy to announce, these kind of things, and then we find out in 24 hours to 48 hours that it all goes to shit. So.
Right, and it creates this illusion that he's done something, and then they just forget about it, and it's a complete failure. It, literally, there is nothing, I can't think of anything Trump's done foreign relationship-wise that's done well. Like, foreign relation-wise, it's done well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
is there anything?
That's what he's doing. No, that's the whole thing. Like he says, I did Pakistan and India. No, they
Right.
didn't.
No, you didn't.
They came out and said that's
Both
all he's
sides.
doing. He's just claiming victory for
Both
things
sides said that.
it didn't happen. So that way, our his little minions can run around and be like, look, he did this, and then if people don't know that India and Pakistan came out and said, hey, no, he had nothing to do with this, then that lie just goes unchecked. This is all how propaganda works. This is
And he
how
did that
fascism
recently.
works.
He did it recently
He
with
does it
Iran
all
and
the
Israel,
time.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. He did it with Iran and Israel. He did it with the first agreement with Israel and Iran. He's done it with
Russia and
everything.
Ukraine.
He claimed the Congo, despite the fact that Biden started those diplomatic relations. Was there something else?
Yeah, we got
Did
more
I miss
stories
something?
here.
No, not the story, but is there an
Yeah.
honest?
No,
Has-
this is par for the course for him.
Yeah, it's just literally say we did this, it fails, and yeah. All right.
And expect the
next
rest
story,
to
Gene?
catch up.
Yeah.
Yep. In continuance with our foreign policy news here, the U.S. is halting some shipments of weapons to Ukraine amid concerns that its own stockpiles have declined too much. Christ. Officials said on Tuesday, a setback for the country as it tries to fend off escalating attacks from Russia. Certain munitions were previously promised to Ukraine under the Biden administration to aid its defense during the more than 3-year-old war. The pause reflects a new set of priorities under President Trump and came after Defense Department officials scrutinized current U.S. stockpiles and raised concerns. Reading, this decision was made to put American interests first following a review of our nation's military support and assistance from other countries across the globe. White House spokesperson Ann Kelly said in a statement, "The strength of the United States Armed Forces remains unquestioned. Just ask Iran." That was a reference to Trump recently ordering U.S. missile strikes against nuclear sites in Iran. Pentagon stocks of some weapons found to be low, officials say. The Pentagon review determined that stocks were too low on some weapons previously pledged, so pending shipments of some items won't be sent, according to a U.S. official who spoke on condition of anonymity to provide information that has not yet been made public. The Defense Department did not provide details on the specific weapons that were being held back. America's military has never been more ready and more capable, spokesperson Sean Parnell said, adding that the major tax cut and spending package moving through Congress ensures that our weapons and defense systems are modernized to protect against 21st century threats for generations to come. The halt of some weapons from the U.S. is a blow to Ukraine as Russia has recently launched some of its biggest aerial attacks of the war in an escalating bombing campaign that has further dashed hopes for a breakthrough in peace efforts championed by Trump. Talks between both sides have ground to a halt.
I'm going to ask this. I don't know if Harry's over on Twitch, but if Harry is, speak up and give us an update on that, because I have not been paying attention to what's going on there. I do know that Russia's gone on the fence or on the offense. Ukraine's playing defense pretty well, but yeah, the Trump administration playing games here is very clearly hurting the war effort. I mean, that's all that happens. Like, Kay, appreciate the sub. Thank you. You know, halting shipments on weapons. Literally, all you're doing is giving Russia like literal ammunition to stay in the war. They're like, well, they're not getting as many weapons, so we'll just continue, right? Fund them more, right? Russia's only hope here is if they can bleed Ukrainian defenses. That's their only hope. Other than that, they ain't going to have this enormous breakthrough and the lines aren't going to collapse. So they have to make sure those weapons aren't going over there. And you'll notice, and I want to point this out because this is really important to understanding the war in Ukraine, is propaganda, is disinformation, and convincing Americans that we should not be invested in it. And that's part of the thing. Russian bot farms have inundated Trump spaces. We see it when it happens in relation to the war in Ukraine pretty egregiously. Republicans went from Trump is strong against Putin. Putin's not that bad. He's just trying to take care of his. That's Russian bot farms manipulating public opinion. And we see this even now with when Trump takes a stance that's non-favorable to Russia. There's a MAGA civil war that breaks out. It happens every time. It just happened last week, didn't it? What was the issue there? There was some sort of issue that happened. Oh, with Iran. Right? With Iran, where MAGA was like, this is bad, but also this is good, but also, and there was a big division between it. Or when they were trying to get people put into Congress, who's Trump, or into the Trump cabinet, who's going to be appointed. There were these big schisms because Russians are influencing who they want to get in here. They did a lot of influencing during the election. The list goes on. So this is important. Like if Trump can't, and the Republicans kind of dug themselves a ditch here. How they get out of it, I don't really know. But if there is going to be a mega civil war, or there's going to be issues caused in America and schisms between the Republicans and even what they believe, it's oftentimes posted by Russian bot farms pretty incessantly. Josh, you have anything?
No, go ahead.
Carbon?
Yeah, it just sounds like a classic example of, nah, bro, I don't got it. That's just really what it sounds like. It's very convenient how they've not been wanting to fund Ukraine, and then this seems to come out. And I also heard some contradictory statements there, like the analogy is just, nah, bro, I don't got it. Also, I'm the richest person in the world. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. You're fine on your weapons, but you're also not fine on your weapons. It just seems like an excuse.
Yeah,
I agree.
All right, we got one more.
3 more important stories here. I think this one is certainly going to bite conservatives directly in the ass, given the state that it comes from. Kansas law surrounding child support payments for unborn children effective today. Over 100 new bills are going into effect in Kansas on July 1st, including one that provides child support payments for unborn children. The law is just one of many going to the books, but has been the topic of controversy for months. Supporters say it's about financially supporting women and mothers and improving the livelihoods of children from conception. Those in opposition say that the definition of unborn child could open the door to fetal personhood in Kansas and be used as an anti-abortion tactic in further legislation. Pregnancy is expensive, right? And complicated, and then you start bringing in lost work time. That's another expense at the same time, explained Emporia State University professor of political science Michael Smith. It does appear that this is a movement towards towards what anti-abortion activists call fetal personhood, which would set the stage for different ways of limiting or abolishing abortion. The law requires child support payments from the date of conception. It includes the direct medical and pregnancy-related expenses of the mother as a factor in those payments. Now, let's be real, okay? It's mostly conservative men who rail against the idea of paying for child support. They say that it's a rights revocation, which is funny because so is forcing someone to carry the term, but let's digress. They've now made this legal in at least one state in the South, predictably. They're going to have to start paying sooner and more for something that doesn't even exist yet, that is not a born human being yet. This is what they've advocated for. This is the regression that anti-abortion policies have now led
They
to.
really
Is
went
now it
full
directly affects
circle.
their pocketbook. Right. The leopard has finally
Ugh.
caught up to their face.
Well, should we? That's the craziest thing. Then should we have to pay for child support? And then now you have to pay for it from conception. Sean, appreciate the 5 over there. Thank you.
Yeah, you got to
I'm
pay
gonna read that
9
in
more
just a
months of
second.
child support.
I know. Here's the thing. I'm not even opposed to it. I think like from the date of conception is a bit crazy, but because like there's not that much going on in the beginning parts of pregnancy. But sure, there's doctor's appointments, whatever. So I'm not like immediately opposed to it. But and as someone that pays child support, but let's be clear. This very clearly feels like a right wing, pro-life push. That's the reason, and that's for that reason it's really gross. It feels icky, like it's not being done for the right reasons, because these are the same Republicans implementing this law, putting these regulations on men, but also taking away WIC, attacking SNAP, attacking Medicaid, that type of stuff. So this isn't sincere, right? This is just a force, like inevitably, in what is going to happen, inevitably they're going to use this to say, well, now a woman has to carry to term. That's that's exactly, like if you accept child support, you have to, or something to that degree, they're going to find a way to do it. That's very clear to me. That this is a very, very manipulative tactic they're using to try and force this into the public eye. And they're really trying everything at this point, really trying everything. But just to be clear, most states don't have personhood at conception. That's a new thing. Previously, I don't know how many states have changed it. And I don't think there's no state that recognized personhood at conception, and except for certain instances of crimes. But that being said, like, there's no real reason for this other than to attempt to inevitably target this. Let's be clear. They're not doing it for the right reasons. They're doing it for all of the manipulative ones.
Yep, and I
Carbon
worry about
thoughts?
the precedent that this sets of men who will violently attack their recently impregnated wife or what have you for the sake of getting out of child support. People who may induce a miscarriage or something along those lines. I worry about what that spike might look like.
Yeah. Thoughts, Carbon?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest issues surrounding this one will be that of probably surveillance, because now you have like court justification and trying to figure out whether a woman is actually pregnant when she was pregnant. Was it at conception? When did conception happen? When did you guys have SMECs? Those kind of things. So surveillance, that becomes a big issue. So, on the bright side, I guess they're creating a lot of jobs, right? Embryo accountants, I guess. Prenatal lawyers. I don't know.
Like, I don't understand the logic here if you're pro-life, right? Because, like, if you are pro-life,
Yeah.
then the easiest thing that you could do would make it easier on women to have kids, right? To close out the child care issue, to give insurance, to give paid time off, to give SNAP and WIC and ensure like a quality of life for Americans. But they're not for that. They're for billionaires, right? They're for this idea of class collaboration, which is everybody has their place, stay in it. And they don't really give a shit about poverty. And it's so bizarre to me, the principle of wanting kids to be forced into this world while simultaneously not actually caring about those kids, right? I care about those kids. I care about the fetuses, the kids, but also deny their mothers the ability to take care of them. You know what I mean? And then there's like this bizarre juxtaposition between calling people deadbeat dads, but also like the same people that are saying you should have those kids are like blaming women when they end up a single mother. It's such a weird a weird mindfuck.
And I can really just imagine the scenario where the woman is pregnant and the man is trying to fight child support. And so she's saying, oh, I've been pregnant for this long. He's disputing it. and they have to resolve the dispute in court, would the judge just be forced to order like period test? Like, this is insane.
Well, not only that,
Yeah,
how are
I
they
know.
going to determine that who the father is
Yeah.
before birth? Like, I don't. Do they have tests for that? I don't
Probably
think they
not
have
that
DNA
early.
Polly,
tests
appreciate the
before
raid.
birth.
Polly, appreciate the raid. Is there? I think there is, isn't there?
It's a good question. I think they do.
I'm pretty sure there was. I'm pretty sure
Probably
there
have
is.
to wait until they're born, if not, get a DNA test and then backtrack from there.
backcharge 'em.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah. See, this is what happens when four guys are talking about women's issues. We don't. I don't want. I don't. That's why I don't like doing it. I don't like doing
At
the
least we know
debate.
what
bringing it up
vulvas
for
are.
Know how
Polly,
many
appreciate
holes
the raid.
there
Thank
are.
you.
The cars, right? Anyways, another story we have today. A federal judge ruled that recent mass layoffs in the United States Department of Health and Human Services were likely unlawful and ordered the Trump administration to halt plans to downsize and reorganize the nation's health workforce. On Tuesday, U.S. District Judge Melissa DuBose granted the preliminary injunction sought by a coalition of attorney generals from 19 states and the District of Columbia in a lawsuit filed in early May. DuBose said that states had shown irreparable harm from the cuts and were likely to prevail in their claims that HHS's action was both arbitrary and capricious. Never seen that word before. As well as contrary to law.
Capricious.
The executive branch does not have the authority to organize, order, or implement wholesale changes to the structure and function of the agency created by Congress, DuBose wrote in a 58-page order handed down from the U.S. District Court in Providence. Her order blocks the Trump administration from finalizing layoffs announced in March or issuing further firings. HHS is directed to file a status report by July 11th. An HHS spokesperson said the administration is reviewing the decision and considering the next steps.
Well,
They
he
say
loses another
here
one.
from a spokesperson, we stand by our original decision to realign this organization with its core mission and refocus a sprawling bureaucracy that over time has become wasteful, inefficient, and resistant to change.
I is right.
Yeah.
I don't have much to say about that. They just keep losing. We got a sub from who?
That's right.
Koala and Brown Eyed Girl. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for the subs. I don't really have that much to say about that one. He just keeps losing.
Well,
He's
yeah,
just
it's-
violating the Constitution, and it's just
This
what's
is,
that? He's 90% loss rate, 90
I was
something
about to
percent
say
loss
this is
rate.
the 93% that we're talking about in court. He has lost
Yeah.
93% of the cases that he goes up against. This being another one. You cannot and should not have wholesale authority to massively undermine the health and human services for any reason. And this is clearly politically motivated. They think that there's too much scientists there, apparently, and are attempting to restructure it. But thankfully, this has been blocked. And we're supposed to be seeing some kind of a status report in the next few days. So, final story I have here. This one's real effed up. UPenn to update swimming record set by Leah Thomas settling with feds on transgender athletes case. So, this is their move of upending Leah Thomas based on her identity and her role in these sports here. Let's go into this. The University of Pennsylvania says it will upend records set by transgender swimmer Leah Thomas and apologize to female athletes, quote, disadvantaged by Thomas's participation in the women's swimming team, part of a resolution of a federal civil rights case. U.S. Department of Education and Penn announced the voluntary agreement on Tuesday. The case focused on Thomas, the transgender swimmer who last competed for the Ivy League school in Philadelphia in 2022, when she became the first openly transgender athlete to win a Division I title. The department investigated Penn as part of the Trump administration's broader attempt to remove transgender athletes from girls and women's sports, finding the college violated the rights of female athletes. Under the agreement, Penn agreed to restore all individual Division I swimming records and titles to female athletes who lost to Thomas and send a personalized apology to each of those swimmers, the education department said. Should be apologizing to Thomas her name and her image has been run through the rigor over the past 3.5 years or so for the sake of an anti-trans agenda that affects tens of people.
Yeah, this is a non-issue. And the crazy thing is the people that are most upset about this are also the ones that are most likely to talk shit about women's sports.
Right. And
So
undermine
what
it.
right. So what validity do you have? Like, look at the science, look at what they say. I don't care. I don't give a shit. To be honest, I think we're a bit too competitive in this country, to be real with you. So,
I'd say so.
like, over stupid shit, over real stupid shit, like, I don't give a fuck. Be real. If a fucking silverback gorilla started playing football, right? Just hypothetically, most of us would be like, that's fucking cool. Like, we get, or something like crazy like
You
that.
leave
Like,
Kyle
everybody
Rittenhouse
loved
out of
Airbud.
this.
Everybody loved Airbud, right? But yeah, this is just rooted in hatred, bigotry, and it's very clearly a fascist ploy. If the science is saying one thing, this is the problem. Science is saying one thing, these idiots are just bigoted. They don't have anything to stand on. It's unfair. It's unfair that women
It's
get
not a
paid as
rights
much as they do
violation.
in sports, but you're upset. No. Who cares?
You
I don't give a
participated
shit.
in this. These people
And there was like, there's a
openly understood
biological, there's a biological advantage. Fucking Aroldis Chapman has a biological advantage. Fucking Usain Bolt has a biological advantage. Shaquille O'Neal has a biological advantage. We don't
The
go
Williams
and try and
sisters.
make it fucking fair, because that's weird, right? We put boys in sports into age groups. We don't segregate them based off of how far along in puberty they are. We don't do that because it'd be fucking weird. It's an exception that only exists for trans people. That's it.
And like I said, affects tens of people. This being one of the, I don't know, handful of trans athletes that they can name or remember off the top of their head, now her career's been undermined. And for what? She paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, presumably, to attend this school just to have her abilities undermined? That's not fair. Where's the
Exactly.
concessions to her? And these athletes knew what they were getting into. All of them understood that. All of them signed up for that and welcomed her participation. And are
I'm gonna give
now
you-
crying about this.
I'm going to finish off on this, okay? Because I think this is important. If you don't have any reasons for believing what you believe and you care, right? It's fake. You've been manipulated. It's bigotry. If you don't have any reasons to believe what you're believing, it's real. It's a genuine reason, right? It's fake. Well, it's unfair to women in sports. So is getting paid, but you don't care, right? So is their pay. So is pay gap, but you don't care. You talk shit about that. So that's not fucking it. Well, migrants in the border, because they're criminals. It's not true, right? If you don't have any valid reasons for believing what you believe in, and those reasons can be easily broken down, it's bigotry. Period. It's bigotry.
Yep.
Is that all
And
for the
that's
news,
our
Jaden?
news. That is all for today.
All right.
I got two things I want to rant on. One of them we touched up on earlier. But as you guys have probably seen if you follow me on Instagram, I was a part of a television pilot with a character that I perform. I star in it. It's called Formerly Known As, and it had its official debut screening at the Chinese Theater in Los Angeles on Saturday. This is a part of the Dances with Films Film Festival, and our block of films was for the pilot block. So they show 4 television pilots. You vote on them. Whichever one wins gets funding and distribution deals and a special camera and all these other perks. Good stuff. Now, ours came third, okay? There was 4 films. Ours was the third, and it was very well received. I was actually very moved by the response that it got. It's a lot different watching it in a theater than when I first watched it on my phone alone, but it was good. And I star in it, and I was very proud of that, and they gave me a special shout out and a round of applause, and I was very content with that. Up until about 3 seconds after it ended, when an AI-generated short film was displayed. Get to the point, shut the hell up. So, what they did was somebody somehow was able to enter a completely AI-generated short. It was about 10 or so minutes long into the submission, and it's not good. In fact, it was quite shite. And if I can pull it up here, there was a few images that I got from it. It was some kind of fairy tale story, but the audience started walking out during it, and these people are supposed to be a part of the voting block of people. Okay, they're supposed to be voting on the films afterwards. They start walking out on it because of how bad it is, and it was bad. And unfortunately, because so many people walked out who were supposed to vote, our film didn't get as far along as it otherwise should have. And now, I cannot predict how it would have gone if that film had not been displayed afterwards, but I would have reason to believe that the voting results would be far different from what it was. But I'll show you a little look at what this crap looks like. This is what was on our screen. Now, you can't see it, but there is an audience of several hundred people here. And this crap, this AI-generated BS, was on our screen for about 11 minutes. It's some kind of fairy tale story. There was a princess and a mama bear and a father bear and all that other crap and Goldilocks. All of their designs kept changing. They looked disgusting, horrible conglomerates of CGI and mockery. It was bad. And the audience was very tepid to clap for it. I actually wanted to boo it. And I wanted to confront the person who submitted this because he said that he was a director and producer and he wrote the thing. No, you didn't. You wrote a prompt which something else animated and put together. This is crap. I think our industry needs a stricter criteria for film submissions, and that something like that should not have been allowed to get as far as it did. So that's my rant on AI.
I agree. We were going to talk about AI more in depth. Nobody's joined a debate. If you guys want to support the channel, there's a Venmo Cash App in the bio. Alternatively, you guys can join the Patreon where you can watch the playbacks. We have a sub goal of 30. We only have one on the night. So, Sean, appreciate it. Thank you. I think we need to normalize amnesty for immigrants for a bit. We have had too much of a period of people in limbo for too long. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it, Sean.
Oh, I forgot about that story. Trump wants to deport homegrowns again, U.S. citizens.
Yeah, he talked about that
today.
He did.
He was on a tour
yeah.
at the Alligator Alcatraz or whatever the hell it's called in the Everglades. Thing looks disgusting. And DeSantis and what's-her-face, dog shooter, are giddy about the idea of sending them to these horrific conditions. And it's just, what the hell is with the lack of taste? Yeah, well, it's true. The
so
lack of
RFK
concern.
Yeah, because they're evil people. That's why. We got Puppy Killers RFK. We got, what's her name? Again,
Kristi Noem. See, you
Nazi
forgot her name
Barbie.
too.
And then we got, I actually like Nazi Barbie better. No, maybe we'll do that for Caroline Levitt. Maybe we'll do that. Yeah, we'll call her Nazi
works,
Barbie.
yeah.
We don't look anything like a Nazi, but the blonde hair. And then we got Kinslayer RFK. Coming up with some names. I got some names here. Great. Caroline.
I think RF Creature from the Black Lagoon works.
RF Creature from the Black Lagoon. Bingo. Typical
with a K.
bingo hall smoker. Typical bingo hall smoker.
Or Bear Nuggets.
Yeah. Someone said nice pube beard. I left a long. I can't say that. Go check your mom's room.
It's a trail.
Yeah. Rubbed it off. Anyways, if y'all are debating, go ahead and hop on in the box. Would appreciate it. MAGA is, in fact, a fascist movement. If you guys want to debate any of the news that we've just talked about, go ahead and hop on in the box. By the way, if there are people over on the other YouTube, the long-form YouTube, that would like to be a moderator on the YouTube Shorts, because for whatever reason, tonight was the night that this started to get viewers, please let me know. But this is all over on OK High, so if you guys want to support, do that. But we also have a sub goal for the night, and there's Venmo Cash App in the bio. Would appreciate it. Was not live yesterday. Was exhausted. Had Baby K was camping, and then this morning, it's like just one run in after the other. Then this morning, kind of an emergency broke out. Nothing too bad. So, anyway.
Yeah. It's 4th of July this
Going over
week,
the
which
news.
means that you're going to hear excess fireworks for the rest of your month.
I know.
I know I am.
Fucking crazy.
I really do hate that holiday. Each year, each passing year, I hate it more and more. But more so, I hate America's... I really have hated for the longest time America's proverbial obsession with the flag. And the fact that we have them outside of McDonald's, which I never acknowledged until now, is bizarre. This isn't like a military base or a U.S. institution or some crap. It's McDonald's. You're dying every time you eat there. And for some reason, we fly a flag next to that.
It's the most American thing you could think of.
It's
like,
true, but
I know Republicans are funny, though, because they're like, the flag triggers you. I don't really care about the flag. I just think that this weird hyperfixation on it is very clearly fascistically nationalist in its nature. It is a symbol that has been changed, and it's not a symbol that represents good. It is a symbol that represents crony capitalism,
imperialism,
and imperialism globally. And that's the fact. And they go, oh, I put my hand over my heart and whatever, which is weird, too, that people stand up for the national anthem, because that used to be like, it wasn't obligatory that you did. I remember when I was a kid, you didn't, like there would be people standing down all over the place. It was actually, people stood up, you know, there were people respectful, whatever, but there were people standing down all over the place. And that changed after 9/11. And then it became this. And that's when we should have known we were headed towards fascism. We should have known we were headed towards fascism, that was what was going to happen. But now everybody does that, and it's just weird. The American flag doesn't represent freedom. Like, you're impoverished because of billionaires. It doesn't represent goodness. Like, let's be real. America sucks as a country. Republicans recognize that. Inflation is insane. Prices of housing is crazy. The price of everything is crazy. Why? Because it's been monopolized by corporations. There's not any doubt about that. We don't offer anything to the citizens of this country, and that's why it's sort of become nationalistic. We didn't move towards helping out people, and so people moved towards being and helping out the nation, being this, you know, this very fanatical belief system. But the American flag just represents bombing other countries. Like, when other countries see the American flag, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing when they see the American flag. It's really not. Because it's usually accompanied by blowing up infrastructure somewhere off in the Middle East. It's like this weird hyperfixation on it.
The veterans that come back from those wars with PTSD, they don't seem to pay any mind for that. They want to actively defund food programs and services that would help those people. Those who cannot participate in these parades with the fireworks blowing off on their fucking block. They don't care about them. And yet they have the gall to say, oh, he died for this flag. He lost a leg for that flag. No, he didn't. You telling me I'm going to war for a piece of cloth? That's the dumbest fucking idea I've ever heard.
So stupid.
You know what I don't
so
understand?
Stupid. You know what I bet they... you know what? Literally really quick. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Josh. I don't interrupt you. You haven't said anything.
No, you're right, man. How about it?
No, I was just going to say, like, no one's ever been fighting on a battlefield thinking about the American flag. You know what I mean? That's never happened. That's never, like pop, pop,
Listen,
pop,
I got a flag at home.
And they've never thought that. They've never thought, I got a flag at home to get back to. No one's ever thought that. You know what I mean?
I sure
You
hope
got
I
a pin
die.
up
No one's
card
ever
of a
thought that.
flag. Look
For
at
the
her.
flag! No one's ever yelled that.
This one's for the flag!
You know what I mean? It's just a weird nationalistic rallying cry. I don't give a fuck about the flag. Period. And then it's just a
George
weird,
Bush.
bizarro.
I blame
I
George
blame
Bush.
Cheney more than Bush.
Yeah, Cheney.
Yeah. I think Bush.
was
Isn't
the one
it
pulling
weird?
strings.
I mean, isn't it such a sick world we live in where, like, Bush seems sane?
Jeez.
I know.
Is that not
I found a
weird
video of him
world we
talking
live in?
about the rise of nationalism and isolationism, and I was like, how the hell did we think this guy was Hitler 2.0 a few years ago?
Well, I mean, he killed a lot of people. Let's be real.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but you know what I mean. We thought he was the worst of the worst. It didn't get any
Thought he was
worse than
evil.
this. It was a disaster, cataclysmic disaster, right? And yeah, and I think what's most fascinating too is that, you know, we've watched this evolution that in a lot of ways mirrors fascism, right? in a lot of ways mirrors fascism, where we watch the Republicans or conservatives create these policies that are fucking devastating to countries. And then a liberal comes in and he starts solving a lot of the issues and gets a lot of the issues better. And then that's not enough because democracy is
not fast
messy.
enough.
It's not fast enough. And people get disenchanted, whatever. And then you end up having an authoritarian figure rise and they fuck everything up. And then, yeah. And then you have this aftershock, right? What's referred to as what's called an aftershock election, meaning something major happened in the demographic. And now you have a back and forth, which is the cycle we're currently in. So you can expect the Democrat, assuming that Trump doesn't undermine everything to such this degree, which is what the Republicans are hopeful of, like the media and, the voting systems, specifically the ability for people to vote and voter ID laws, whatever it is, right? That hopefully that a Democrat will come and rise. I don't know that it's going to happen now because the Republicans have manipulated this to such an extent. But, yeah, you watch these aftershock elections and then, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I have a little hope that the pendulum's going to swing back. But when it does, so like we understand that the pendulum is going to swing as far, if not further, than where it was before. And that's what we're seeing with the far-right ultranationalism in this country. Hopefully when it swings back, it swings so far, we get socialism. I don't know. I think it's weird. I think it's really weird. Like everybody in this country, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, everybody alike will agree that there's too much money within our politics. Billionaires have too much control of our politicians who get laws and policies put into place that disproportionately affect the working class. They will agree with that. They will agree that the billionaires control the media. They will agree that the billionaires control the propaganda that we see. And then you ask them, should we tax billionaires more?
Well,
No.
we shouldn't punish their success.
Why do you not see, like you understand all these steps all along the way, but then when I say, are you a victim of the propaganda from billionaires saying we shouldn't tax them more? No. They're the ones that give the...
Well,
God bless
they
it,
created
man.
my job.
God bless it.
Yeah. Someone said, hoping for socialism, how can you call yourself a man? Take care of yourself. But I used to dig ditches. I'm more of a man you'll ever be. Okay? Someone else sub on here? And it's weird. Earn your take. He's over there crying in the comment section. Tell the red states to stop fucking taking money.
Yeah.
I gotta add these two to go. We actually have 5 out of 30 subs, by the way, on the night. So if you guys want to support with a sub goal, you can gift subs, you can sub, help support the channel, help keep us going. We're trying to move more towards news focus, and yeah. Who are we taking?
Thanks, Jack.
I got a diver. Dan is not debating, I don't think. Don't remember, though. I don't remember if Tony is. If you're debating, stay in the request. If you're not, please hop out. And let's be real, AI is about to take our... This is the new... I want to talk about AI because it's the new race. But, I mean, I don't really want to record it. Maybe we could do a segment tomorrow. Spend some time thinking about it. But, generally speaking, like, the applications for AI is pretty endless. I mean, I think it's concerning because there's a lot of jobs that we don't even really think about that are going to be replaced by AI. You think about all the logistics jobs.
Farmers.
Yeah, farmers, logistics, everything will be automated. And the crazy thing is there was like a gap between automation and what we could do, right? Like there was a gap. It's a lot. It's a lot to process, like for instance, how you're going to automate an entire factory. It's being done with AI, whatever, and how you're going to make it efficient or how you're going to... There are very specific things that automation can do, but there's very non-specific things as well, right? Like if you think about a person that, operates an excavator or whatever, right? Just for example, you can imagine a situation in which there's a control system that you can mark out, be like, yeah, and have an on-off switch. And AI can dig it for you. AI can determine soil quality, whatever it is, right? Like there's a whole host of things that it can do, or like jobs that require non-specific tasks. If you think like... I don't know who sent over the subs. Someone just sent over 10 subs?
I think it was Annie.
Who sent over the... Was it 10?
Thanks, Annie.
Annie, appreciate it. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Annie with the 10 gifted subs over on TikTok? Got 25 on the night. Annie, appreciate it. Can we get some dubs for Annie? Annie, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Everybody give Annie some dubs. Swoop, appreciate the sub as well for tier 1. We got 26
Nice.
subs so far. Annie, appreciate it. Thank you for the 10 gifted. But there's like, if you think like factory line, right? Like, if you think like, what is it like? Like if you think like our assembly line, right? Where there's very specific tasks. It's a one task thing. Well, there's 2 tasks and 3 tasks and complex tasks, and AI can solve that. Where, say there's a firm that's wants to create something, wants to have AI, a robot that does a complex task. AI can solve a lot of the logistics, can speed that up. And so I think there's a ton of jobs from driving, traffic control, whatever else it is. You think flaggers, whatever. There's a ton of those jobs that can be now replaced. How many jobs are going to be lost to AI is impossible to know. You could be watching AI Dude in a year or two. You don't know. But yeah, because there's entertainment value in anything, right? AI's AI, sure. I don't particularly like it, but you think animation, people watch animation, it's not real. So could it replace a lot of stuff? Yeah. AI can streamline a lot of stuff. And you think about like the applications for computers, the applications in the real world, from streamlining process, whatever it is, AI can do that. Let's say, for instance, I take a video off of here, right? And I put it into an AI thing, and it just sends it out to every platform. It cuts it up into videos. I don't have to do any work, right? Like, that'd be pretty simple to do. I already use AI for some stuff with clips, right? So yeah, I could see a world in which that happens. It just simplifies and streamlines everything. Sure, it increases productivity, but it also reduces the reliance on manual human labor. I think it's terrifying. 17 million trucking jobs are at risk. We're not doing anything to address it right now. We should be writing AI legislation with sunset clauses. And so that because we just don't have the ability to regulate it. And even worse so, all of the dinosaurs in Congress have no idea that this is going to become a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have no idea. I mean, they let's be real. It's their pet that's their password. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm
throw in the
surprised
word
they don't get
regulation,
hacked more
that'll
often.
be it.
I
Yeah.
don't listen. We all know that there's like, I actually want to talk about this too because there's a generational gap, but we all know that there's like a subset of much older people that type in a really, really specific way. And that way is basically this.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that, but
You should
we
see
know
how
they
they answer
do
the
it.
phone.
We know they do it. That's the people in Congress, right? Or the people that are looking at their phone typing out like this, where it's like really slow, right? Those are the people that are overseeing tech, right? I'm not saying anything to attack them for it, but they do that because they're not. It's not second nature to them. It's not second nature, right? They didn't grow up with a keyboard. They didn't grow up with a phone. It wasn't early on. Sure, a lot like I didn't get that stuff until later. Like I had we had computers, obviously, but I didn't have a phone until I was 14. Like a cell phone until I was 14. Like, and it was a piece of shit. And that's like the thing, right? It didn't even work half the time. I didn't have a working phone until I was like 16, 17. So I couldn't even make calls. So there's this very big gap in what's coming. And we see these generational changes and they're happening faster. And it requires, groups of people that are more savvy with it to understand. And they're just not it. And I want to say it is going to be interesting because those people that type like that or text like that, at a certain point, there won't be any more. And I had that thought yesterday and it fucked with me. I was like, at a certain point, they'll just be like, why are they typing like that? I don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is Diaper Dan debating?
Maybe.
So there's a really good book on this. It's called The Four Futures. Have you read it by chance?
No.
No.
It talks about talks about AI and the necessity of like protecting our labor through unions, or inevitably everybody's going to need UBI. If AI takes over, the only other option is everybody starves to death, or we implement UBI, and then we're looking at like a kleptocracy kind of. You know, we're gonna be all living in like Microsoftville town and shit like that. It's a pretty good book. It goes over 4 different futures. 2 of them were communism.
Yeah, I've had that thought a lot. Like techno-communism is probably like what's going to happen, because you can't have masses starving. So it's almost like right-wingers are going to adopt, left-wing belief systems to be able to feed themselves, which, but you also have to look like there's a really important aspect to this where if you're talking about like tech companies, they want access to AI. There is a major race going on, right? And the scary part is Trump's in office, so he's really pulling that away. This is the scary part for me, okay? Is that there is a race going on that is not in the United States put together very well, right? You have Google working over here, this company working over here, this company working here, this company, and there's no coordination. We need fucking legislation to address coordination and to regulate it. Fucking period, and quick. Why? Because Google's over here, Nvidia's over here with their Blackwell chip. Google has whatever, I can't remember what chip they just came out with, and there's all these companies working on AI in various different capacity, and it's really all over the place, right? There are some that are more ahead than others, whatever. And we have a problem where those chips are made in Taiwan. Those chips are under the watchful eye of China that's waiting to take over it. At any point, if those chips stop coming in or not being able to be sent back to Taiwan to be developed, fucked, right? We would lose the AI race to China, because even though China's further behind, they don't have the same tech that we do. They'll have the platform to build it on. So you have the situation where if we lose Taiwan, or something happens to TSMC for whatever reason, won't get into all the technicalities of it, the United States will have all of this fucking tech and nothing to put it into. China, on the other hand, may be behind, right? They may be behind us, but they have the platform to build it on. So how the fuck are we going to be able to develop AI tech if they're doing it? They, by the way, are collectivizing all of this. That's why they're catching up so fucking fast. It's amazing what you can do in 20 years when you collectivize shit. They're collectivizing their tech. You work with you. We said so. Have fun. Google, Nvidia, whatever, they don't have that. So we're in a weird, like obviously there are partnerships, but it's not like the government's coordinating this. There's some major coordination. So that's a problem. There's also the problem of what happens if Google manufactures or Nvidia manufactures AI better than anyone else, and they're just ahead of the game. They could fucking destroy companies beneath them. Can you imagine if Google had an AI to run through their entire search algorithm to find out the best ad placement, to whatever it is, right? To find out the best search results, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They would beat out literally any other company. We saw something very similar with Walmart. The reason Walmart became so successful is oftentimes they would know what the profit margins were of the products that were coming in. Or they would be such a powerhouse in sales that they would manipulate that so they could get lower prices than everyone. And they would do really manipulative shit, but they would control it because they had a huge ecosystem. You had to give to them, otherwise you just weren't selling. It was a major market, and they could manipulate the prices, right? It's the same thing with this. If they can create an ecosystem, and by the way, Walmart was the first company for retailers to like start doing like automatic inventory restocking, so they would know it was sold. The moment it was sold, they could send out orders immediately. And they started doing that. Then Amazon came in, right? Amazon started doing stuff to that degree, and they started renovating it. And it's sort of this situation, the same thing, where if a company starts getting a hold of this stuff, right? And the concern is that you end up with a monopoly over X because they've had the infrastructure to do it cheaper, right? You can imagine if a company, for instance, wants to build just Windows, and they have figured out the cheapest way to do everything, the most efficient way to do everything, and the best way to advertise whatever it is. And they have this grip now on Windows to such a degree that it's so significantly cheaper, even 20-30%, they're the only ones selling them. And then you're talking about monopolies, you're talking about companies going out of business. really, really worried about the implications of that. And there's no regulations written on AI. And I'm not really sure what's going to happen. All things can, obviously, the worst case scenarios, like it could be one AI is just catching up with the other. But the fear is that the one that gets it implemented first is going to have, you know, a pretty significant turnaround. So we'll see. Concerned. Got JXM and Tony.
Why not both?
There's a lot of stuff because I don't think Tommy is debating. What happened to the market crashing? I'm gonna speak to your shit in a week. It's gonna be fun. A couple weeks actually. JXM, what's up?
I don't know, man. I've been listening to you for a little while, and it blows my mind that y'all really believe in socialism and
I can
say that
barely hear you. I barely hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. Is that better?
Ooh. No.
Not better? Shit. Hold on.
With the racquetball court?
Swoop again. Appreciate
Nah.
it. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Tony?
Tony, are you debating? Tony was in here last time. A while ago.
But I don't see the authoritative part.
Okay, I can't hear
What?
that well, so I guess we'll just.
I thought we were talking about socialism.
Yeah, how did we jump to that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we got to that. You went off the app and then.
Oh, shit. Well, I don't know how
Sorry, we
you
didn't
guys
hear you.
believe in socialism.
Garrett, appreciate the 10. Thank you. Can we talk about the government is supporting people and then making work requirements for healthcare and SNAP? The idiots on the right don't realize we are going to be the low-waged force replacements. AI accelerates that. Yeah, basically AI could potentially take really complex tasks and make it whoever's operating that AI system just an unskilled worker somewhere, removing their ability,
Where'd he
making
go?
her easily replaceable. Okay, well.
Fuck.
But again, Garrett, can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for the 10 over on Venmo? Appreciate it. If you guys want to support the channel, Venmo Cash App in the bio. You guys can send the supers over on YouTube. Yeah, and we have a sub goal. We're at 26 out of 30. Okay, he's back.
Next. Oh. Sup?
Nope.
Hello?
So hey man, do you think it's important to protect the rights of workers, the labor rights of workers?
Okay, close every nook and or cranny before you join the live, please.
All right.
Are you walking
listen,
through your school gym
go-
right now? What's going on?
Bro is chewing on concrete. Chill.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Are you debating, Tony? Is this going to be a debate or?
Yeah. What else is there?
Okay.
Have like a
Well, I was just
Wasting
wondering.
time
I
like
just
the
want
last
to make
guy?
sure. Well, no, because I was gonna. Okay. All right, Tony.
Okay.
What's going on? What's your take?
MAGA movement is fascist. I mean, I've heard that a lot, but I've also heard the other side too. That, say, for example, Obama was a communist, etc. And from there, you can accuse somebody of being like anything, but I think people throw around these terms because they're afraid of some kind of end. And so when you're saying that MAGA is a fascist movement, you're saying it, I believe, because you guys are fearing some kind of end. And so what's this end that you guys are worried about?
No, I wouldn't say that necessarily. I'm not concerned. There's not an end that I'm concerned about. I don't know how this will manifest itself into whatever it becomes, but it's very clearly signifying signs of far right fanatical fascism. So I don't think that there's an end. I don't think that Trump is a Hitler. I think he's more of a Mussolini figure. But yeah, I don't think that. I agree that fascism, communism, socialist, they're thrown around pretty regularly as pejoratives. I'm not using it as a pejorative in this instance. I'm using it as a literal defining a literal way to define the right.
What characteristics are you looking at MAGA to define it as fascist?
Yeah, so there's different traits depending on who you would ask, but some of the main commonalities would be a return to national greatness or a want to return to national greatness, a hyperized national myth, I believe ultranationalism, an obsession with national security, scapegoating of a marginalized group as the root of the country's problems, extreme conservative and traditionalist beliefs, anti-feminism, anti-arts and intellectualism. And yeah, those are some of the things.
So a lot of what I'm hearing is around nationalism. So you have a problem with the problem or concerns around nationalism?
Yeah. I mean, it's not just nationalism. It's ultranationalism. Like
Okay.
Bernie Sanders had a degree of nationalism in him, but that nationalism didn't undermine the way that we treat other countries or the bad things that happen in other countries.
Okay.
Like jobs
So
for Americans, right? Yeah.
yeah, isn't that so like it is how do you really measure that versus, for example, a difference of opinion? Because for a lot of people, they would put their like that's what MAGA is about, like the America First movement, right? Like so we put America first
Oh,
before we put
Well, that's what
anything
they
else.
claim. They claim
That's what
that.
they claim, but that's what their
Yeah.
intention is, right? Like, that's really what they want. So
No,
like
they claim that it's not America only. They claim America
America
only or America
first,
first. Well, they claim
right?
America first, but it's America only, right? But it's
America
also
first.
not just America only. It's white America only or traditional America only.
I mean, if that's true, then in the National Convention, they had a lot of other non-white people on stage, and in fact, like in the White House, they would
Right.
celebrate like all
Every
these like different
right.
groups, right?
Yep. That's so that they can have people to tokenize to say, look. But if you look at the Republican
yeah.
Party, overwhelmingly it is white. And by the way, the belief system among Republicans inherently favors white people.
The Republicans inherit like overwhelmingly favor white people, and why do you think that is?
Given the policies they
Because they're
uphold.
inherent. Yeah.
And you're Asian,
asking
right?
why?
Is
I am
that,
Asian,
is that
yeah.
correct? Okay,
Yeah.
so we can understand that there are certain disparities that do exist along racial lines and the types of policies that would more in a way benefit or harm certain people based on their ethnicity. For example, environmental policy. You may not think of this, but that has racial biases towards it in the extent of where people live, where people of different backgrounds are predominantly concentrated, are more so likely to be impacted by deregulatory policies versus those who are in more affluent, more white neighborhoods on this scale here. So, in multiple facets of our society, the types of policies that they push for, the types of cuts they push for, disproportionately harm people of color.
Yeah, but isn't that just a case of just poor people? I mean, what was that thing that happened with like water?
Why
I
are they
want to
poor? Wait, but why are they poor?
a big. There's a very reasons why they're poor, but they're also white. Like for example, and the big example I
But
was going to
who
bring up,
disproportionately so, people of color are those most likely to be impacted on the scale of poverty.
which
Those
people
who
of
live
color? What
below.
about Asians like me or like brown people? Like
I'm referring to brown people.
okay, but like if like from India,
I'm referring to brown people
I
in
know, but they
general.
make like the
Poverty
highest.
impacts people of color at
But
a
they
greater
make the
degree and a
highest
greater rate
income.
than it does white people.
But they make the highest household income of all races in America. Same thing with Asians.
So that what does
They're
that
higher than
dispute?
white people.
Does that dispute the segregatory policies that do still exist and persist within our society? No, it
No,
doesn't. So you to say
but
for
that
you to point to
dismantles your
people who
argument,
do,
though.
it doesn't though, because that still upholds a system of disparities along racial lines, along poverty lines, of which in many
Poverty lines, yeah.
cases,
Poverty
right,
lines,
in
I
which in
agree.
many cases people of color are likely to fall below that buck.
Yes, but some of them are white. It probably, if you just said poverty line, I'd be
Most
like,
of
that's
them
fine.
aren't.
But what about that case? I want to say Flint, Michigan. I'm not quite sure what the brown water issue was like. All
That's
white
a good
people.
example, yes, of a Republican governor supporting environmental deregulatory policies in a
In a white
predominantly black
town.
neighborhood. No,
But
it
it
was
was in a white
predominantly
town.
black. Flint is predominantly black.
I don't think it was Flint though, because I think that's a
It
Michael.
was, you said Michigan. That's Flint,
No, I
Michigan
know,
with the
but
dirty water.
That's why I said I want to say it, but I don't think that's the right one.
It is Flint. How old are you?
I'm 41.
You don't know about Flint, Michigan?
I know a lot of things. It's a big world. I'm not a news junkie.
Well, you should know about that. I think that's one of the most.
I mean,
there's
Flint's
people who said I
a
should know
pretty
about
big
the Proud
thing.
Boys, and I'm kind of like, why
It
should I
kind
know
of like
about that?
being talking about Katrina.
Yeah, I know about Katrina, but I don't know any
Right.
details about
Flint,
it.
Michigan would kind of be like
it.
it'd kind of be the equivalent of talking about Katrina in terms of its
Okay, so the
significance,
point is,
or at least
like going
its
back to
impact on society.
sure, but going to the point.
Can I make one point?
Argument. Yeah. Sorry.
You said something that I found very interesting, because I've heard this in the white supremacist circles in the past about how America can't be racist because look at the Asian population and the Indian population within our country. They're doing well. The household income, you're right. The household income for those two demographics are higher. But you have to ask yourself why. Why are they higher? It's because those demographics specifically live in households generationally. They have 2-3 generations within one household, and all of those incomes count as a household income.
It's also
Well,
not
some of
fair
them
to say
really
that because
look-
there are wealthy Asians, somehow Asian hate perpetuated by Republicans doesn't exist. Somehow
No,
there
it
aren't
doesn't. It
gross
mostly comes from
biases and
Democrats.
stereotypes supported
It
by.
mostly comes from Democrats, actually.
How do you
And
quantify that?
I
You're
know
saying
this
that
for-
Kung
I
Flu
know
came
for
from
this for
Democrats?
sure because I was part of the whole Stop Asian Hate thing during the time of
So then
COVID.
how did most of it come from Democrats?
I'd rather not get into this. Because
No,
this
get
is-
into that, please.
No, because I want to talk
You
about
made the
topic
claim. Let's
more.
get into that because Kung Flu was Trump's doing.
It actually,
Trump basically blaming
like,
people
China
from
virus thing
Asia.
came from Taiwanese people. in
That
fact.
came from Trump.
It-
Okay,
it
then who
came- no, the
perpetuated
whole-
it? Did
the- hold on
Republicans
one second.
perpetuate it or did
If-
Democrats?
The Taiwanese people perpetuated. They didn't really like not Kung Flu specifically. but
Based
the
in
China
America,
virus.
who pushed
China
that?
virus was a Taiwanese term.
Who pushed that propaganda in
hold on
America?
once. I want you to
No,
settle
no,
on
because
that,
it is
because
still
it
a
doesn't
slur.
fit
Wait,
within your
hold
narrative of
on,
white
hold on,
supremacy.
hold on. Tony,
settle
Tony,
on that
Tony,
fact.
How does it
Tony,
not?
wait, Tony,
Let's settle
Tony,
on that. It doesn't.
Tony, the
it doesn't-
originating, Tony, the origination of it doesn't matter. Who was it? Like that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all, right? If someone says something off in a random country somewhere and it never makes its way to America, we don't have this conversation about it.
does
There's
make
a
its
reason
way.
that it's in the American public discourse, and the question is, why is it in the American public discourse? Who put it there?
Why is it in the American public discourse of what? The term China virus?
Who
Yes.
promoted it? Yes, who promoted
You're
it?
tracking now.
Yeah, the Taiwanese. Trump said it. A bunch of the Taiwanese community say it. And China.
Was it Republicans or Democrats?
I think you're being purposefully
Was it Republicans or
obtuse.
Democrats that promoted it?
Are you ignoring the fact that the
Purposefully
Taiwanese
obtuse.
say it? They purposely have said it. Why is
No,
that?
that's actually a straw man.
You don't think
that's
the
actually a
Taiwanese
straw
have
man.
said that?
Do you
I
think
have never
Taiwanese
said anything
people
that's a
have
straw
more
man.
influence?
Wait, hold on,
What's
hold on.
that?
That's a
What
straw
I'm
man.
saying is
on the
basically
Republican Party?
that's basically kind of going against what James tried to say here.
You keep saying that and you're not enumerating how.
Enumerating how?
You know,
what do you mean, how now?
saying
Are you
saying
using
it
the
goes
words?
against your argument
Are you
by
forgetting
not
what using
explaining
words
how
are
it
like?
does. What?
Like by
Okay.
using their
I'm
words?
gonna
You
calm this down for
literally
a
said
second.
you wouldn't
Tony-
answer my question.
Okay, hold on.
I just got muted. What was the
Tony.
question?
The question here is why it is in American public discourse. We're not asking a question about etymology and where it began, which I don't know. We're
Yeah, it's
asking
easy.
you about who promoted it in the United States, because your argument had to do not with where it was created, but who promoted it. The problem
Lot of
is,
people promoted
right
it.
now, no,
One of
that's
them being
not the
Trump.
question. Was it
One of
Republican?
them being Trump.
Cool. Find me a Democrat that promoted it. Find me a Democratic politician that promoted it.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay,
You want
fine.
me to search it?
Yep.
I'm okay. I'm not going to. What if Trump is the only
Okay, if you were so comfortable
He's
in your
laughing because
position
I'm
on
not
this
doing his
argument,
monkey work
stop
for you. I'm not
talking.
doing your monkey
If you
work
were
for you.
so-
You're laughing at me,
What?
bro. That's so funny. Like he's like, go search for it. I'm not doing his monkey work for him.
I'm not asking
monkey
you
work?
anything.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Jaden.
You've been spending too many times on racist Reddit, bud. You gotta chill. Your
Oh,
argument
yeah.
was that
Is that even
Democrats
you?
promoted
That's
it.
rich coming from you, bro.
Your
How?
argument.
We
You're
haven't said
telling me
anything
you're
racist.
What did I even say?
This is getting unproductive.
The original conversation is that MAGA is a fascist movement. I don't know actually how we ended up talking about etymology and stuff, right?
You did. We didn't do that. That wasn't us. We didn't do that. We didn't bring it to etymology. You did.
To it.
You did. That wasn't us.
Wasn't Jaden asking me, where does kung fu? Who said the word kung fu?
He was asking you who promoted it in the United States. You kept trying to clarify, and you
he
kept
said
talking
that.
about Taiwan.
Yeah. What was I saying about Taiwan?
I don't know. We didn't
relevance
ask.
Well.
The question was who perpetuated it in America.
He said it, and it was perpetuated amongst the Taiwanese community.
You argued that Democrats were the ones that perpetuated
I'm
anti-Asian
talking
hate
about
crimes.
anti-Asian hate, and I'm not going to
Right.
get into
That was
because
rhetoric that circulated around that spike in 2020, during which we saw a greater degree of Asian hate crimes.
Let's just say that there are a ton of attacks from Asians from
But you said from Democrats.
Democrats decided to turn their blind eye on it because they weren't.
How did
woke.
they turn their blind eye?
They
This is
definitely
another
did.
claim that
I
you've yet
am
to
very
back up.
involved in this. I don't want to get off topic here. I was
If
very
you're
Stay
very
on this.
involved in this, then answer simple questions about who was responsible for perpetuating it and how the Democrats did it. Yes, it was,
Yes,
dude.
it was.
Listen, man, Tony, all right, you're being purposefully obtuse and disingenuous, and I'm not going to continue the
He was
conversation.
talking about how are Democrats perpetuating the Asian
He
hate?
asked you to quantify that, yes, and you have yet to do
To
that
quantify that. How do you quantify Trump doing it?
by him
You wanna-
saying it. I can
Him
count the amount of
saying it.
times he
What the
said
fuck?
it. I can
That's
give
not
you the
the
amount of
spikes
times
of
he said
anti-hate
it.
crime that
Here, I'll
happened.
quantify
That's
it
not a
really quick.
quantification.
How many times did Trump blame China for
The
COVID?
virus? So wait, hold on a second. He blamed China versus what? Race?
He used anti-Asian rhetoric
So,
surrounding the virus.
You do know that
broadly
China is
and
not
openly.
that China is not all of Asia. You do know that.
We know that.
Well, I just want to make it sure that you do.
We
Were they
know
talking
that.
about
You
a
know
different?
that China is
Does
not
Trump
Taiwan,
know that?
right? So
Alright.
why?
I'm done. That derailed insanely. So we're gonna move on from that.
I invited him to put his camera on. He didn't though.
Someone
me too.
said you should get a real job. I think I'm good. I think I'm good on that. I'll take my fake job.
Get a haircut.
You enjoy your real job though. I'm good. That was completely funny, but completely. By the way, Josh, I saved that one, so you don't need to do anything with that. I don't know if you wrote it down.
Okay.
I did want to bring that up with you. Like, I'm gonna announce it now so that you know. So, how many times did he call it the Kung Flu? I don't know, a bunch. I think he still calls. In fact, they tried to get him to. He literally crossed out a word once and wrote China virus. Why? Because he's trying to deflect blame. And then what happened? But I want to point this out. What did the Democrats do to cause Asian hate to go up? It went up in 2020. Is there another factor?
That's why
Did
he
the
wouldn't
Democrats do something? What did they do? There's nothing that they did. That's a bold-faced lie. Is it bold-faced or bald-faced? I think it's both, right?
Boldface.
Okay. Really quick, I gotta read this really quick.
Oh, yeah.
Andreu, appreciate. I know it really well, but I won't tell you anything about it. Andreu, appreciate it. Regulating AI energy consumption could be a strategic workaround of the 5-year AI control ban, given the data centers powering AI are eating large amounts of electricity. Yeah, this is gonna be a problem. No one's talking about getting. By the way, no one's talking about getting rid of data centers. When they're like, when you bring up, you're like, oh, they're like, we don't have the energy system, the energy grid to power all these electric cars. Not a word to say about AI and that stuff. It's just, it doesn't matter. It's just a talking point. It's just a talking point. Also, Andreu, appreciate it. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Andreu? And can we get some dubs for Drew? Drew over on Venmo. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for the 10 over there? Drew, appreciate it as always. I did get you unbanned over on YouTube. I think I saw you over there. So, all right. Okay. Those are weird accounts. By the way, if you guys don't follow this account, can you follow it? I'm just trying to get it 10,000 followers so I can get it monetized. So if you guys want to support.
Drew, thank you for the 10.
1 second.
Drew, thank you for the 10.
What?
What? I was thinking Drew.
Stop being fucking annoying, you loser. Fuck off.
What'd he say?
He's just mocking me.
I think he's a parrot.
I'm just thinking.
Shut up.
What's happening? Anyways, if you're debating, hop on in the box. Would appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and clear it because there's a bunch of weird shit in the thing right now. So I'm going to clear it. If you are debating, go ahead and hop on in. If you're not, please hop out. It's funny, the YouTube chat over there was like, they're democratic socialists. And what's so funny about that is, like, from the perspective of someone that is educated about that term, they're dumb. They're really, really dumb.
Yeah.
Really stupid. They don't understand. Like, all that indicates to me is, like, obviously there's the obvious response where it's like, just because they say they are something doesn't mean that they are, right? Tyrannical governments also often claim that they're about freedom, and it's a gaslight. But just from the perspective of, like, understanding Germany at that time, they don't have any historical background. Germany was 1/5 of Germany was socialist, and so they had to find a way to bring people over into their side. Also true is that revolutionaryism was very popular throughout those days in Germany, and it was very frequent. And so you add a revolutionary figure in, you add socialist to the name, which they bastardized the meaning of, basically. Instead of socialism, it wasn't about socialism for the people in the Marxian sense or any socialistic sense. It was socialism for the nation is what it was. You have to give yourself to the nation. But if you guys don't follow that account, if you could follow it, I would appreciate it over on TikTok, because I'm trying to build that account out. Not just to follow it, but also if you follow it, it'll tell the algorithm that it's getting better engagement. So I would appreciate it.
So I need to put out there, in 2 weeks we're having a special election in Arizona, in southern Arizona, District 7 specifically, to replace Raul Grijalva. He passed away back in March.
Right.
There's a special election going on. I hate this
worse.
voice. And it's we gotta get Deja Fox in. She's the closest thing that we're gonna get. Like, Grijalva's daughter is running. She's just she inherited the name, she inherited the donor list, like, everything's in her favor. We gotta. This is a Mamdani kind of situation. We can get a Democratic Socialist representing District 7 in southern Arizona. We just got to show up and vote, and it's on July 15th. Make sure you show up to vote.
What's her name? Shay something?
Deja Fox.
Deja. DAJAFOXX. Deja Fox.
Deja Fox. All right. Deja Fox, everybody. Look her up. I've been seeing posts lately on Twitter. That's right. We dead name in this house. Where somebody.
Wait, can we take a second for that? That was actually. Oh, that was a good joke. That was actually so good. That was actually a really good joke. Damn, Jaden.
Someone had a.
We get some dubs for Jaden. That was a good fucking. You're getting canceled for that. No, I mean you're not. You can't get canceled for it, but that's actually a good joke. Go ahead.
Thanks. Somebody had a picture of Zoran Mamdani and Trump, and it said, "Real Americans hate both of them equally," and it's like you could put a Labrador next to Hitler and say that both of them are equally evil. And, like, what did Mamdani do that's as bad as Donald Trump to putting people and kicking them out without due process and gutting the healthcare system and jacking the fuck up out of everything? A trade war and the bombings. Well, he wants free baby baskets and bus trips, and that's as bad as World War III? Get real. This is why centrists should not hold public office any further. You don't stand for anything. You cannot say that one is definitively worse than the other one. Get lost.
Exactly. By the way, if you guys are over on YouTube and you want to debate, check the schedule. It's 9 a.m. Pacific and 6 p.m. Pacific every day, Monday through Friday. But if you guys want to debate and you have a TikTok, I'm over on debate.dude. You can check it out. It's in the link tree in the bio. It's going to be one of those accounts.
And we're going to get a YouTube number set up soon enough, aren't we, Tommy?
Yeah, but there's a problem. Because if I have a YouTube...
I know. You're going to have to solo it. That's all.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I mean, right now we're pretty well fine, so it is what it is.
These people would arrest Jesus.
They would. I literally have had
We
people
ran
be
that
like,
slide, I think.
yes, they would. They're
Right.
like, I would deport Jesus. Like, you would deport the guy that's going to give you eternal life? The
Yes,
fuck?
listen, we're talking about a dirty brown man from the Middle East riding in on a donkey. They'd have ice on his ass yesterday.
They didn't even have shoes.
You know what that reminds
Right.
me of? You know what that reminds me of? There's a question that they ask police when they're going in. They have an interview, a formal interview, where they interview in front of like the police chief and whatever. And it's one of the final stages of becoming a cop. And I've heard some of the questions that they'll ask. And like they'll do weird stuff where they'll try and psych you out so that to see how you're going to react, right? Like they'll turn the chair around backwards and like see if you'll sit down in the chair and like stare the opposite way, which people have. But one of the questions they used to ask is like, would you give your mom a ticket? And they used to use it as like a thing. And there were people that would be like, yeah, I'd give my mom a ticket. And then they'd like grill them on it. Like, you would give the woman that birthed you a ticket? You know what I mean? Like fucking with, you would give the woman that birthed with them a ticket. It's like that, right? Where it's like, this guy would give you eternal life, and I wouldn't fuck. If Jesus came, even if I was just like, nah, and fucking Jesus walked across, I'd be like, yeah, come on, the fuck, you want a place to stay, bro? Like, what is this? Hell yeah. The fact that they would deport their Lord and Savior. By the way, that's a really important part of fascism is wild contradictions, right? He's my Lord and Savior. I love him. He's king, but deport his ass. Hello?
Hi,
What's going on?
So-
How old are you?
I'm 23.
So what's going on with
You've
your
been here
take?
before, haven't you?
No, I never been on here.
You were
This
saying you
feels
kept
like a
getting
voice
kicked?
changer.
No, I kept getting kicked from the request.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so what's going on with your take?
I don't think MAGA is a fascist movement. I think MAGA cares about human lives.
No, they don't. By defunding Snap,
They're pro-life, so they care about
it's funny. Not as good as a dead
I'll be
naming
real
joke,
with you.
but-
I'm not sure if you're serious. That was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard on this live, and I genuinely mean that. That's actually not a troll. I'm not trying to fucking undermine what you're trying to say here, but that was fucking profoundly stupid. Can you tell me why?
because they're pro-life.
They're pro-life?
They're against
They're just trying to kill 51,000 people. Those aren't people. Fetuses
say
aren't
that?
people. Can you name another group? Fetuses aren't people. We're not going to agree to that, and I'm not going to argue
They
with
are
you.
people.
Can you
They're
name
human.
again? I'm not going to argue with that with you. Can you tell me actual people, like legally, definitionally people, that's after first breath that they care about and what they've done to help them?
They've given them like tax cuts for food.
This is a.
Can you
troll,
say
isn't
there
it?
must have been an angel by my side?
This is a troll, isn't it?
What?
Just real
What are
quick.
you talking about? Say what?
This
There
is a
must have been an
troll.
angel by my side.
There must have been an angel by my side?
No, you gotta. Damn it, you ruined it. There must have been. Never mind. All right. Yeah. No, they don't. They don't care about children. They don't care about fetal personhood or life or what have you. They don't care about any person that has been born or advancing the lives of people who currently exist. I don't even think that they care about the dying people.
And you think the Democrats do?
Tenfold, yes. They shot down yet another veterans healthcare expansion within this current tax bill that you're supporting here. They've railed against humanitarian aid for children in other countries. You cannot say that you're pro-life and yet cut off the line based on the borders. They laughed at the children that died at the Rio Grande. They're okay with deporting families and children, U.S. citizens. Of course they're not for preserving life or the sanctity thereof.
Well, they are because they passed the Reagan-Riley Act.
Lake and Riley Act. It's not a good act. And if they cared so much, they'd have named it after Molly Tippett, who died under Trump.
Really quick talk. Are you actually trolling us? Like,
I'm not
Seems like it.
trolling.
are you trolling us? Are you?
No.
What's that line from? What's that line from Bad Santa? Are you fucking with me, kid?
I'm not trolling.
They didn't save anybody's life, by the way.
They did. They saved.
Well, so she's alive now.
Well, that's because of
Okay.
Democrats.
No. Molly Tibbetts was Trump.
Well, Laken Riley and Barbara Stout.
Okay, so Molly Tibbetts, a Republican, killed her then, right?
Who?
Molly Tibbetts, who died under Trump, similar set of circumstance.
Well, Obama opened the border.
No. Happened under Trump.
Well, they should have closed the border.
You understand that the border was more secure under Obama than it was Trump, right?
No, we had the lowest crossing.
No, that's actually true. Border crossings were lower prior to Trump's presidency and spiked multiple times. That's why he declared a state of emergency.
You said prior to Trump's presidency.
Prior to Trump's presidency, yes, border numbers were trending downwards and then rapidly spiked 2018 and 2019.
We had 0 illegal immigrants under Trump.
What? We had 0 legal immigrants under Trump? That means that the border's fucked then, right?
We had 0 illegal immigrants.
So that's false.
No, that's true.
It's false. 2019 had a 456,000 person increase alone.
Well, that's Democratic numbers.
Can you, like, dig deep with the Q-tip and pry out the bug that fucking died in your brain and save yourself, please? Because I don't even know that I'm talking to a real person at this point.
I'm gonna be real. It feels like we're talking to RFK's worm. So, is this a troll?
You're attacking
Gotta be a
me
troll.
for no reason.
Yeah, cool.
And that's a white woman in the profile picture, but you sound black. I'm gonna be honest.
Excuse me?
You follow Tashika. Well, you're a black woman. Let's be real. Don't bullshit me. But
I'm not a black woman. I'm a mixed
you're
woman.
black. Come on.
I'm mixed with Native American and Mexican.
Either way, you're a bad troll.
I'm not trolling.
Well, let's
Okay,
go
well,
ahead
then
and...
you're just stupid.
Okay, let's just...
Girl. Like, you're just attacking me because of my voice. Like,
Yes.
Where's the Does anybody have a spare victim card to hand out here? I don't
You said anything about trans women.
Under Biden and Kalama, they opened...
Kalama?
God damn it. You're a troll. Listen, I'm going to be honest. It's funny. You're not the best troll. It's funny, though. It's actually... She's a really funny troll. I'll be real. Like, a really funny troll.
Sure.
Good for you.
I'm not trolling. Like, I'm 23. I live in Barbados.
You're committed to it, I'll give you that.
I don't like it.
Really committed. Oh.
I'm not committed. Like, I don't know what that means.
Don't like what, Josh?
This?
I don't like her trolling.
No.
I'm not trolling. I
It's
voted
icky.
for Trump last year.
As a trans woman.
Yes. Because he's...
Oh, that's the troll. I didn't hear that.
Community?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a trans woman.
How has Trump benefited the trans community?
Getting better and better.
He gave us, like... He supports us, you know?
He gave us, like...
He supports us. He gave us his support.
When? When he kicked them out of the military?
Yeah, that was yesterday. Yesterday was the
True.
last day they had to.
He kicked us out the military?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. That's jobs that people no longer hold.
Wait, where can I search this up?
There's nothing in the kick.
Where most people search things up. It's like a website with the...
What do I search up to find out that he kicked
Trump kicking out trans military service members.
Wait, let me search it up.
Okay.
Let's play a game. Someone kick her before she finds it.
Oh, wait, he did.
Uh-huh.
Wait, really?
Mm-hmm.
I never knew about that.
Wow.
Still like Trump?
You're a fast one, aren't you?
We're going to move on.
Yeah, sharp as a cotton swab.
Anyways, we are 4 subs away from the sub goal if you guys want to support and help us out here. Jaden, how are you feeling? Because you said you were tired.
I'm doing all right now. Hungry.
There's a Venmo.
Very hungry.
There's a Venmo Cash App in the bio if you guys want to support the channel. We are crowdfunded here. We are not funded by anyone else. I'm blowing up the channel to try and draw in some viewers. If you guys want to support, there is a YouTube in the bio. You guys can watch videos over there. There's also the OK High, which is where news is coming. And yeah, that'd be cool. Appreciate it. We got 4 subs away until we hit the sub goal. So, by the way, all this stuff is coming along really well. It's just taking time. So
nice.
Yeah, I think I'm almost. I think I'm almost monetized on that one channel, or on this one. This one I'm almost monetized on. So, you liberal Marxist terrorists are finna. Bro, you gotta go talk to someone. Have you seen the people that are like, if Iran invades the South, and they're like freaking out all over TikTok? Have you seen that?
You mean Iraq?
No.
I gotta get 100,000 views to get monetized.
Yeah, I'm pretty close already on this one. Not that far off.
All right.
Yeah, I think I already have 25. I only started posting a couple weeks ago. I think I'm already at 25,000 views.
I think I got 1,000 so far.
So, you're not coming in? You can come back. Oh, that was the guy with the bad audio. The other guy tried to come in and he's not joining because, yeah. What was I going to do? Yes. Do you have anyone that wants to hop on in the box? Would appreciate it. I got to figure out the next step. So I've been doing this in steps, trying to like work it into the routine because it's a lot. Because by the time I get, I wasn't supposed to have ABK this weekend. I did. Took him camping. Done. But I'm working in segments. And one of the next things that I have to do is get, I haven't got a hold of Corey. What? There was another one thing I needed to do. I totally spaced out. Anyway, sorry. It's just been a process of trying to get everything put into order. So.
Oh, good.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot. I want to.
Camping. Is it me or can anybody? I can't poop when I go camping. That's one of the worst things. That's one of
Oh
reasons I
God,
don't
the
like
constipation is horrible.
It's fucking horrible, man. Yeah.
Does dude shit in the
Camping
woods?
in airplanes. Does Josh shit in the woods? No, I don't.
No, does
actually.
dude shit in the woods?
Oh.
I just hate
like I gotta
camping.
get home for a good day or two before I'll, pinch it off. But it's just I don't know, man.
Something about camping in the summer just doesn't make any sense to me. It's the fall and the winter that seems smart. You get all cozy and bundled up.
Yeah,
it's hot
tents
as
are a
hell
pain
in
in
the
the ass.
summer.
I was thinking
Yes.
about this because you were talking about people not liking camping or whatever, and honestly, I do like. I obviously I have a trailer and stuff like that. I don't really like sleeping on the ground, but like if there's an air mattress and a heater, I'm usually pretty content. I don't have any problems with it.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's cheating.
it is.
Still
Well,
cheating.
that's cheating. What? That's not cheating.
It's not camping.
What is camping to you? Are you sleeping on the floor outside? No wonder you fucking hate it.
A cot.
On a tent.
Smart as
yeah,
is a
on
cot.
a tent. A sleeping bag, yeah. Air mattress
Yeah.
at best.
Yeah, I said an air mattress and a heater.
In a trailer, yeah.
No,
Oh, I thought you
no,
were
just
talking
a
about
tent, air mattress, and
No,
a
that's
heater.
not too bad.
No,
That's
like
not too bad.
no, I'm fine with that, but it's kind of sucks being in a tent because it's like there's not that much to do, So you're just like go to sleep, wake up, and that's pretty much it. Then you're outdoors camping again. Obviously having.
Do people still make tree houses?
Trixie, appreciate it with the 5 gifted. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Trixie? We hit 31 subs on the day. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Trixie? Trixie, appreciate it. Thank you for coming through over there. Appreciate it as always.
Tree houses were more of a thing.
Jen,
never
appreciate the
see them
resub for 31 months or 32 months. Nice. Went to Seattle after last cruise and it was beautiful. That flower market and the public market is amazing. Yeah. That's pretty. Everybody goes there for the Instagrams. Jen, appreciate it. Thank you. I'll add it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it probably was zoning laws or the HOA. In like the 50s, 60s, everybody had a tree house, the clubhouse, or whatever the hell. You never see them anymore. Hell, you barely even see trees. Most of them are radio towers.
Yep. 1 second.
They hide ours as saguaros.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they look like saguaros. They're clearly not cactus, but yeah.
1 second.
Man, cactuses scare me. I don't know why. They're just big, ominous. If they fall on you, you're fucked. Nobody can help you.
Hey,
don't
Ronan, appreciate it for
fall
the
very
15. Thank you. I don't know how. Ronan 15.
They look like people.
Can we get some dubs and
I've
drumsticks
seen
in
a
the
couple.
chat for Ronan? Appreciate it, Ronan. Thank you.
I've seen a couple fallen storms, but
That's scary. And like
they're
fucking,
highly illegal to cut down.
Yes, I know. The dentist has one outside his door, and if you trip on that, your knee is fucked, and it's just scary. Ugh.
This one.
Give me the heebie-jeebies.
You're talking about saguaros specifically, right?
I don't know. A cactus is a cactus.
No, what? No.
What is a swirl?
A saguaro is the big tall ones with the arms that you see in
Well, yes, those scare me.
Yeah.
But even the
those
smaller
are only
ones.
saguaro cactuses only grow in the Sonoran Desert. Nowhere else in the world do they grow.
Whatever
yeah,
the fuck the
they-
case may be, they're scary as hell.
They're incredible. They're incredible.
No,
You
they're
can't
not.
eat them though. Yeah, they're pretty cool. You can't eat them, but they'll make you highly sick. But they live for 200-300 years, man. 200 years at least.
That's the
They're
scary
super
part.
old.
Any
They
day
don't
one of
even
those
grow
fuckers will come
arms
down
until
at
they're-
you.
Yeah, well, they don't fall down a lot, man. But they're super heavy, filled with water. But they don't even grow their first arms until they're 80 years old. An entire 4 generations won't even see an arm.
And what if I'm like skydiving or some shit, and I gotta land in a tree, and that's the closest one to me?
What are you, Wile E. Coyote, bro? What are you?
Maybe. It's just these fuckers look scary.
Nah.
I always
they're
thought
beautiful.
when I was growing up, quicksand would be a bigger issue than it ended up being. Yeah,
Yeah, the
Bill
movies really
Nye.
make it out to be that.
Bill Nye.
They're not that
Ronan,
deep.
appreciate it again. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's not that. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Quicksand is not. So here's the thing. It's not even quicksand is that serious. Like, because you're just never really going to run into it. But what you should be worried about are like mud flats. That shit terrifies me. That's actually scary.
Sinkholes
I've
scare
thought
me.
about that. Huh?
Mud
Sinkholes.
flats. Sinkholes are real.
Yeah, mud flats. Like, I don't know if they're mud flats. I don't know what they're called, but they're like muddy ass banks, like really sediment rich banks that we see in Washington quite a bit. So, should we take another one?
Bro, I'm scared of people mowing their grass and they let it get on the road when I'm riding a motorcycle. That shit'll throw you off real quick.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'll slip right out from underneath you. Weren't expecting that, were you?
Dude,
About spiders? We're more talking
Last
about
year?
natural disasters here.
No, this is true. Last year, one of the craziest things that I saw that I've ever had happen to me happened. I was literally driving on like in the woods. I was hunting, and I hit this fucking patch. I was doing like 10 miles an hour. Like I was not going fast at all, and I hit this patch of mud, and my car slid at least 50, 60 feet. I almost went off an embankment, like fucked the car up. I was getting ready to jump, be honest with you. It just slow, like just literally, like it was the craziest thing. It was so weird. And I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna jump. That was my thought. I'm gonna ditch the car. It was such a weird thing. I never experienced anything like it. I spent a lot of times in the woods. Just hit like mud, like grass, so I didn't really see anything. Just hit grass on top of mud and just fucking slid. Or no, leaves on top of mud and just fucking slid. It was crazy.
Yeah, I once tried to play into that classic trope of jumping into a pile of leaves, and there was a big pile of shit underneath one of those things, so I don't trust those anymore.
That was a setup. Somebody did that on purpose.
I think so.
Was it your brother?
No, it was outside the school. It's fall, big fucking pile of leaves, and underneath it was shit.
That's a setup.
First time doing it and last time, I thought, oh, I'm gonna frolic in the pile of leaves like they do in the movies.
Brian
Have an
Sutton,
autumnal, beautiful moment. No.
All right, I think we are going to call it for the night. Jaden was tired.
Okay.
We'll be back live at 9 a.m. Pacific. I don't know if I'll have Baby K tomorrow. Like I said, something came up. So we'll see, but I'll let you guys know. Venmo, Cash App in the bio. Make sure you guys sub. Appreciate it. We hit the sub goal tonight. I do need to work through. I didn't think I was going to have Baby K, but I do need to work through what exactly. I do need to work through what exactly we're going to do for people subbing when we hit the sub goal. Find a perk or a benefit. Anyways,
I just wanted to thank everybody for the gifts. I appreciate all you guys. Yeah, everybody have a good night. Be safe.
All right, sounds good. Eric Ashante's live. So is Santana.
If you guys are over on YouTube, sit tight for a second. Do me a favor and I'm just going to send you over to a video and just watch it all the way through if you could, or leave it on in the background. Would appreciate it. You're going to help me build up some hours over there, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Everyone, take care. I'll see you in the next one.